Steel boots stomping, crashing the floor. Two wild Yinzers kicking through the door. Loud like a jag-off at a pins game fight. Brace yourself, this ride ain't polite. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, we don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, we don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Rivers collide where the laughs always flow. Black and gold thunder everywhere they go. The madcap kings breaking every mold. With two Dum Yinzers, the stories don't get old. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice.
You know what time it is, everybody. It is Victory Tuesday. Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome back to the show. This is episode 870 of the Two Dum Yinzers, and I got to be honest with you, I am very excited to see everybody back this morning. I'm very excited to be able to talk to everybody. I got to be honest, I don't know how much longer I could go without talking about this game to anybody. So, guys, I hope you're in for a ride. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Glad to see everybody here. This is the Tuesday installment of the Two Dum Yinzers. This is, of course, Tuesday, Victory Tuesday, guys, as the Steelers beat the Miami Dolphins 28-15 in a game that it's a lot to talk about. Again, I'm not sure what we seen last night. It could be good. It might not be as good. We don't know. We're going to figure it all out today as we do get ready to head into the Detroit Lions game this coming Sunday at 4:25 in Detroit in a Week 16 matchup. 3 games left, guys. The Steelers are already 6.5-point road dogs in that game, which is fine. Lions coming into that game also with an 8-6 record. Not playing great football this year, but still a very, very talented football team. They can score a lot of points at any given game. So, guys, we have all Lions week to get ready. But today is about celebrating. Today is about getting into what it was that we accomplished last night against the Miami Dolphins here in Pittsburgh. And I'm gonna be honest, I didn't think it was cold enough. I thought once it was 17 degrees when the game started. Earlier in the day, it was supposed to be around 10 and dropped to around 3 with the wind chill. And I thought, 17, and it's going to be around 10 with the wind chill. That's not cold enough. But you know what? It seemed to wear and tear on that team from South Florida as they came out and weren't able to do anything that they have done recently, especially in their little 4-game winning streak that we snapped last night, and so much more, guys. We'll get into all that. It's so much more today, but I do want to say good morning to everybody on the board, you guys. Hope everybody's feeling good today. I'm feeling good today. I'm feeling really, really good today, to be honest with you. And again, with only 3 weeks left, a lot to talk about. We can't wrap up a playoff spot this coming week, but we can the following week, before we even have to see the Ravens again, we'll get into those possibilities and a whole lot more today. But let's start on the board. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Great to see everybody back on this Victory Tuesday. Let's get into it. Phil the Steel says, what's up, Watt fans? He says, Teflon Dawn still sucks. Tortilla also says this. He says, I had the craziest dream last night. The Steelers actually played good. Wow, that is crazy. Tortilla, my man, how you doing, bro? Or Tyrone, I'm sorry, my man. How you doing, brother? Always great seeing Tyrone on the board. Jen says, Steelers win. Hi, everyone. Yahoo! That's right, baby. Big Steeler win. And you know what? People, here's the thing. All week long, well, you know what? These guys are going to run. They're going to run the ball all over you. You couldn't stop Buffalo. You couldn't stop this team. You couldn't do that. And now all of a sudden when we win, it's like, well, they are the Dolphins. So, we'll get through all that. But you know what? I look at it as this. You beat a team that you were supposed to beat. You didn't go out and shit the bed against a team you wasn't supposed to shit the bed against. And it didn't come down to the end of the game, which a lot of times Steeler games do. So there's a few encouraging things on top of it, probably being the most, I'm not saying it was a complete game, but probably the most complete game that they've played so far this year. I do want to add also, as the Mike Tomlin press conference goes on, Mike will be adding any important news and information across the bottom of the screen directly from the Mike Tomlin press conference. Of course, right off the top, you are seeing injury news across the bottom of your screen as Mike Tomlin does go on today to talk about the game and moving forward. So that is going to be updating on the bottom of the screen here for some time. The injuries that I did get from last night were these two more serious injuries, but not real serious. Isaac Seumalo goes down with a tricep, and then also Nick Herbig with a hammy came out of the game with a hammy, a bunch of other bumps and bruises, as said by Coach last night after the game. So we got out of this basically pretty healthy for the most part. And you know what? If we had terrible trouble on the offensive line, I might have said, you know what? Oh, geez, that injury to Isaac Seumalo is big. But we're all a little pleasantly surprised today, I think, by what this offensive line has been able to do. Certainly keeping our quarterback off the ground for the most part. And even at that left tackle position where it's the fourth left tackle, the fourth stringer, and guess what? He didn't give up any pressures. So much more. And this was against Bradley Chubb. But again, so much more. We'll get into so much more today. Tyrone says, let's fucking go. That's right, baby. It's a big day. And you know what? We got to celebrate. we got to celebrate, guys. We have to. We got to enjoy this win because if we don't, you know what? This is what it's about. Coach came out last week. Steeler fans love their entertainment to them is winning. And we won. So we will. So we're certainly entertained. We're certainly excited. And again, we are 8-6 in first place with still that margin between us and Baltimore, the one game plus the tiebreaker. Costa Nostra and Tater Tot, where are you at, losers? On the board is Cody already getting on the some of the company, I guess you could call them, that we've had over the past few days. Easy win is what Cody's saying. Also, guys, still pay attention. Across the bottom of the screen, I'm seeing information on injuries and other things coming from Mike Tomlin, so do pay attention to what's going on down there as well. I'm seeing Andrews Pete is in the concussion protocol. James Pierre still questionable with his calf injury, all kind of stuff like that. So keep up to date on that as it's going. Feel the Steel says Cam Hayward showed who's the franchise right now. Boom, you sure right, he did. He got that sack, and they planned it. They said if any of us get a sack, Herbig, Cam, any of these guys, we are going to do the Watt celebration, and Cam certainly did it. And I got to be honest with you, it was cold. The guys were excited. They played good football. The Hall of Honor was increased. A few superstars of the past, the legends came back. The end zones were gold. The unis were black. It was a good night. I had a feeling it's one point during this game, not in that first quarter when it was 0-0, when it was 3-0 halfway through the second quarter, but a little later, I started thinking to myself, man, this game has a nice feel to it. I think we got this, and we certainly did. Tyrone says the banger. Boom. That's right, baby. Field the Steel says Steel defense played for the boom. Jen says we haven't had an enjoyable, relaxing game in a while. That was nice. My heart needed a break. And I was thinking about that too, Jen. I'm thinking all the way back to last year against the Giants. The Giants might have been the last time we had a game where we could have actually sat back and relaxed and enjoyed the game. And one other quick note that I do want to say is you got to like winning in December. Guys, this has been a problem of ours for quite a few years now. And here we are winning in December, guys. 2 games played, 2 games won. Everybody knows Detroit's going to be tough, but also we have a Cleveland Browns game round out this December. So again, winning in December is something that is a little bit different, guys. And again, we're going to figure out what the reasoning is for that. I think we might have it figured out. We'll get into all that today. Cody says this, Dolphins don't belong in the snow. It's too damn cold for them to just be walking around, right? Get them Dolphins some coats. Excuse me. Cody says this, Metcalf pushed Minka out of the way like Uncle Phil throws out jazz on Fresh Prince. Absolutely, man. A lot of good things to talk about, dude. A lot of good things. Minka, the big comeback game, of course, him, Jonnu and Ramsey. I think at least Jonnu and Ramsey made a mark. I don't know so much about Minka. Cody says this, Cam did the TJ kick. You know who his old ass is feeling that? That's what he said. Cam was like, I knew I was going to do it if I got the sack. However, I didn't know if I could get my leg up that high. So that was kind of funny. Also, some stuff across the bottom of the screen here still from the Mike Tomlin press conference, guys. So do keep up on that as it's going. Feel the Steel. Feel the Steel says this, expected win. All the elements we knew were there. Monday night weather at Heinz Field versus the Fishes that don't like the cold. Easy peasy, just another game. Joe, what's up, brother? He says, what a great camel. Oh, what a great game. What a great game. Could it be better, Mike? But Daniel looked like someone stole. You know what? Could anybody look any less interested in a game? I mean, we give Tomlin this shit sometime. But can anybody look any less interested than Mike McDaniel did last night? Looked like somebody stole his Matchbox car and pushed it to the ground, and pushed him to the ground. It was sad. In the fourth, it just looked like the Dolphins gave in. And as Troy and Joe Buck were saying, what are they doing? Why now? Why when there's 30 seconds left, you're calling all your timeouts and you're hurrying? It's there's certain things that you can see about teams where you realize, oh, that's why they don't win. Oh, that's why this team isn't that good. Oh, that's why that is where they are. And, that's what people were starting to say about us, guys. So hopefully we can continue on the right path. Miss Pittsburgh says, good afternoon. Always great seeing Miss Pittsburgh on the terrible board. She says, let's go. Here we go. Ricky Die Hard Sports fan says, yo, everybody, great. Absolutely great win by our Steelers. I do want to say welcome to the terrible board to Ricky Die Hard Sports fan. You know what? That was the game we needed. You know what I mean? At this point in the season, a game to give you a little bit of momentum, a game to give you a little boost in the ass, a game to, give you a little confidence. And again, I don't like the matchup against Detroit, but December could certainly be a 75. We could win 75% of our games in December, especially if, again, week 17, Cleveland, what are they really playing for? And again, we'll worry about that when we get there. So many good things to talk about from the game last night. There really are. I'm going to go right here. True Phil Steele. He says, overall, grade A game, ball to 14. I don't think anybody's going to, not many people's going to dispute Gainwell. He's been productive as anybody all year. But I do have a game ball that I'm going to give to somebody other than that. We'll get into that so much more later on. Gainwell's the GOAT. Tyrone is saying, Ricky Die Hard Sports say the Steelers need help from the Patriots to beat the Ravens on Sunday. And that's how it plays out. If we got to listen, if we win one of the next 2 games, we have Detroit at Detroit next, and then we play at Cleveland. If we win one of those 2, Baltimore loses to New England and Green Bay, which isn't out of the question. New England and Green Bay are 2 pretty good football teams. It isn't like they're paired up against the Dolphins. So if we win one of the next 2 and they lose both of those 2, Week 18 will be irrelevant. We'll already clinched. Or if we win both of those games and Baltimore wins only one, or loses one of those games, then we also clinch. So they either have to lose to New England and Green Bay, and we have to win one of the 2 against Detroit or Cleveland. Or if we beat Detroit and Cleveland, Baltimore only has to lose to one of those teams, and that would have us in the playoffs prior to Week 18, before the matchup with the Baltimore Ravens to close off the season. So that's what the situation is right now. That's how it's looking. That's how we can get into the playoffs. before we even have to see the Ravens again. But again, there's this roadblock right in the way. It's called the Detroit Lions, and we'll get into that so much more this week, guys. There's a lot to talk about this particular game, but I do want to start about the just doing the things that they needed to do last night. The things they needed to do was getting in there and stopping the run, and getting in there and stopping the run is exactly what they did. Not much confidence in this defense to do that, being how hot the Miami Dolphins have been as of late. But the Steelers came in and broke their 4-game winning streak, stopped them running in their tracks. And in my opinion, this is the Dolphins' first mistake of this game. It was stopping that run. They were hitting those corners. They were getting a couple nice runs. You know, you don't got TJ in there. You could run right at that spot, and they were gaining. And then they felt the need to start trying to pass and trying to pass more and trying to pass more, and that just wasn't working. Abandoning the run, aborting the run early was not smart for Miami, considering that's been their strength. And again, I think that plays into just some more of the bad coaching that went down last night for Miami. Talking about losing a game, being out-coached. Mike McDaniel just, again, doesn't even seem like he wanted to be there. Maybe it was the cold. Who knows what it was. But we out-coached the Miami Dolphins last night. There's no two ways about that. Again, they looked like they didn't even want to be, especially in the fourth quarter. He was ready to go. He was ready to go. Let's get back at it. Right here. Joe says, how the hell did the Dolphins beat the Bills? My only explanation for that, Joe, is it's division. The same way the Browns could beat us sometimes, the same way the Bengals could beat the Ravens sometimes, the same way the Ravens could lose to the Browns, and vice versa. Once you get division games, you got to think of all those years in the Brady era where they'd have a great season, then they would lose to Miami one game, or they would lose to that bad Buffalo team, or the Jets all of a sudden they take a loss to. So those division games, so easy to fall into a trap for those ones, and I think that's what happened with that, because again, that team, or are we playing better football? That's a good question as well. We'll keep asking that as we do move on here. Right here, Ricky Diehard Sports Fan says Steelers need to prepare to face the Lions now. That isn't going to be easy. Absolutely not. This might be one of the toughest games all year. Only because the matchups aren't good. I don't like the matchups of this game. They're 8-6. They're not playing great football. They're sitting in third place in their division. But the matchups, I don't like the matchups. Again, Goff, he just went over 300 last week. Again, Gibbs, he's tough. St. Brown, they got a really nice team, and then the defense is tough too. A good, an intense coach. So I don't expect this game in Detroit to be an easy game by any means. So we will be getting ready for that all this week, and hopefully if we could stay in the game. But again, we'll try to figure out what it is we got to do this week. Yinzer Nation, what's up? Welcome back to the show. He says, it's a Steeler game in December when Watt doesn't show up on the score sheet. Bum, bum, bum. There's somewhere in Texas right now, a man just lost his mind. Armac, what's up, brother? Howdy, nice to see you, sir. Great to see you on the terrible board. Yinzer Joe, I don't like how, though, we left off the gas in the fourth quarter again. They need to keep the foot on the pedal, especially if when they play a team that can score at any moment. Absolutely. I would think that's common sense, right? You would think. Jamal, what's up, brother? Always great seeing my man Jamal. Yeah, gang, MF, what's up, gang, brother? How you doing, sir? Armac says Gainwell is a good guy, fits his team well. Rogers trying to get him paid. I like that. I seen that. You know what? If there's been anybody that's been a consistent weapon on this team, and now you're leading receiver on this team, Kenneth Gainwell is that guy. Jamal says MT's the GOAT. You know what? I got some good stuff. For you today. Jamal, I knew that you were going to be excited about this. And today, Mike Tomlin is, for his first whole day, the 10th most winningest coach in NFL history. That's right. He passed Dan Reeves up, getting his 191st win as a head coach in the NFL, making him 10 overall in the history of the league. So do what you want with that, guys. The facts are the facts. Coach does have the best, 10th most wins ever in the NFL by a coach. So Jamal, A-Rod's the GOAT. Also, Armac says they wasted. So, dude, it was unbelievable the way again, this didn't seem like a team that looked like they were trying to get that playoff spot. They were eliminated last night, rightfully so. They weren't eliminated in vain. It wasn't like they went out and really gave their best and didn't get it. They just didn't. That wasn't a team that didn't want to make the playoffs. And you know what? We'll take the spot. Cody says this. He says NFL needs the Dolphins to score again. 70% of bets took the under on the points. Vegas wins again. Imagine that. Jamal and hey, my man, you are the GOAT, brother. You, Jamal and Tyrone and all the guys from Steeler Gang talking trash with the Steeler Gang. The GOATs. Tortilla says, I wonder what Mike McDaniel is going to say on all Steelers talk. Talking about again, and I'm not going to continue to say this, but how uninterested did that guy look? But again, don't get too happy because sometimes we look that lax on the sideline too, and that kind of scares me. But again, it was nice seeing it across the way, and we took advantage. Jamal is the GOAT, Tortilla. Armac, Tyrone, gang, hope all is well. Everybody, what's up? Right here. Jamal says, no. You the one the Lord chose. Tortilla. That's right. Tortilla's the man. Nation says, unleashing hell on the NFL. Jamal says, what up, Armac, my dog? What up? Jen says, DK won the angry run scepter with the throwing of Minka. Man, was that great. Every touchdown had something to excite you about. Whether it be DK Metcalf tossing Minka, whether it be Jonnu Smith having that big game that we hoped that he would have against his former team, whether it be little Meatwad getting Yinzer pushed into the end zone, or even Juan Valdez-Scantling in his touchdown. You know what? I have a lot to say about that, and I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but did MVS have his Mike Williams moment? I hope not. I hope that these veterans could certainly be more involved, certainly moving down the stretch, because, again, you got to remember when Mike Williams came in and got his first action last year, he got the game-winning touchdown catch against the Commanders, and that was it. So hopefully that doesn't continue this year. We keep these veterans involved because Aaron looks a lot more comfortable with the veterans involved. Even if they're not getting a lot of passes, he looks a lot more comfortable back there these past two games. He just does. And the line is, doing their part to help that out as well. So good on them. Jamal in the doghouse. Jamal's in the doghouse. That's what Cody's saying. I don't believe it. Oh, he's in the doghouse, or he's not in the house. Dog. What is this? What's he in the doghouse, Jamal? What's going on, brother? Gang. Nation says Gainwell is number one. Jamal says, laugh my ass off at Ketty. I live in the doghouse, dude. He said, come on, man. Good December football, bro. That's exactly it, Armac. This is what you want to see in December. Come on, a win over the Ravens, a team that they thought they were going to beat us. They truly thought that they was going to beat us last week. We beat the Ravens on their own turf, and then the team that was supposed to run all over us on Monday night gets about 60 yards. I have to pull the numbers up here shortly when we get into them, but come on, for a team that's dominating in runs and we're supposed to just annihilate our run defense. 64 yards on 12 carries or whatever it was. Seems to me like they aborted their plan a little too early because, again, they were hitting those edges. They were hitting the edges with hold on. I do have to. Achan. I was mispronouncing it all week. Achan is the guy's name that we were supposed to be getting ran all over by. Achan. Bingo says, very disappointed in Jack Sawyer. He dances around tackles with his hands out like Pee Wee football instead of laying the lumber. Pansy-ass bullshit. I'm not super excited about Jack Sawyer either, man. Bingo, to be honest with you. There's nothing, again, there's nothing that he's doing that I hate, but there's nothing that I'm doing that I love. He's doing that I love either. He's got to start doing something. You're right. I agree. Cody says, Jamal, what up, big brother? Seen you live last. Hey, what's up, dude? I jumped on also when I seen Jamal went live. I hit the like button for you. I was wondering what was going on myself, but Cody was looking for you. I do want to say good afternoon to Finch. The Finch. What's up, brother, man? How you doing today, sir?
Good to see you. Glad to be here. Please continue. You were going through the comments here. I was listening along. Good to see everybody. Tyrone, everybody, all our friends. Gang.
Big game last night.
Continue. Yes.
Big game last night, man. Cody says, I'm sorry. This is where we're at right here. Tyrone says, we miss you, bro, for real. Ricky Diehard Sports says, Detroit is going to be a big test for the Steelers. And you know what? That's what I said, Ricky, going a couple weeks ago when we were talking about going into December. I said, get the win against Baltimore. I'm sorry. Then beat Miami, and then use the Detroit game as a litmus test. Let's just say we go up there and something crazy happens and we win that game. More power to us. That's the best case scenario. But use that game as a litmus test. Because, again, personnel-wise, they are one of the more talented teams in the league. Their 8-6 record this year, third place, isn't really showing that. But, I mean, pound for pound, this team is one of the tougher, talented teams in the league. So let's use this game as a litmus test if we're not able to win and make things better from there. But, again, you could win more. That's super. But, again, I don't like the matchups in this particular game. And but, again, anything's possible, guys, especially in the NFL this year. A little different than a lot of other years. It just is. Cody says Tyrone cried. I seen it. He said I seen it, man. Cody says this. Mike McDaniel got Mike McDaniel the GOAT. Tyrone Waddle had 36 yards. Yeah, another big game by Joey Porter Jr. And then is there ever going to be a game the Steelers play where we don't drop an interception? Is there? I think Joey.
That's the MO, right?
Well, Joey Porter at the end of the game, he pulled his nubs out there and he dropped one. And then one earlier in the game, I think Chucky or somebody else missed an intercept or dropped an interception. But Finch, is there going to be a game that we could get through where we don't drop an INT?
Hey, to be fair, when we were winning Super Bowls 20 years ago, we had guys who legendarily dropped the INTs all the time then as well. And it worked out pretty well. So, all
right. Mark Malone, what's up, brother? Always great seeing the great Mark Malone on the terrible board. He says this. Dolphins could always beat the Cheats back. That's what I'm saying. When you're in the division, it's up in the air. It really is. It's the better team
takes over sometimes when it's those divisional rival games. You know what I mean?
And right.
There's like a sixth sense that happens on the field when those games are being played that allow weird, crazy things to happen. And
I agree. And here's the thing: a majority of the time, the better team wins, but you can't rule that those aren't automatic wins in the division. Cody says, "High waters and Jesus sandals for McDaniel's fit was hard as fuck." Jen says that was a dick comment about TJ. Phil says this: scream that if you believe in Teflon Dawn. Say it now. Steelers are going to the home of the bus and beat the Lions. Campbell and Teflon Dawn. If you believe in Teflon Dawn, say it. Steelers win. Jamal says Mike Tomlin for life. Cody says fire Tomlin. Bingo says good to see DK fight to get in. Good to see DK fight to get in the end. Absolutely, that play was amazing. He's throwing guys. Minka's flying through the air. Between him and Darnell Washington, I mean, these two guys are monsters of men.
And they're playing hard. They're playing with heart.
Right.
They're trying. They look like they want to win football games.
You ain't kidding.
That, man. They got it.
Cody says this, give Pat Freiermuth the ball more. He's so much better than George Pickens. Cody also says Tyrone's favorite wide receiver, Juan Valdez-Scantling, scored an open touch. He did. You got to like it. And again, I don't know how much you want to put into it. Besides, I thought Aaron Rodgers looked a lot more comfortable with having veterans out there running routes. He just did.
I thought of you when he scored that touchdown, Ryan. I did, because you were kind of blowing us up a few weeks ago when we got him, and I thought, you know what, it paid off. Good, we finally got Juan Valdez, and
well, here's a concept.
Coffee goes to him.
Here's a concept: get some wide receivers on your team, and they'll make plays.
Unbelievable thought.
Who would have thought that this
with an experienced quarterback who knows how to throw the ball, and it's.
Who would have thought? I mean, you would have thought that this idea would have came up 60 years ago. But here it is, guys, just now getting in. And also, guys, pay attention to the bottom of the screen as Mike is throwing up the up-to-date Mike Tomlin press conference.
Mike is throwing up? What?
On the bottom of the screen all during the show until at least Mike is done with the conference. Cody says, what up, Finch? Nice beanie and Bishop. Jen says, hi there, Finch. Good to see you. Somber, my man. He says, finally made it. These other chats had me ready to crash out on a Victory Monday, baby. You come right here to celebrate any damn time you want, Somber. We're doing it right here. Cody says,
you need a win in the fourth quarter. 2 Dum Yinzers is here for you.
Cody says, Finch Nader, what up, homie? Also, Cody says, Somber, what up? Good victory morning. P, what's up to my man P? Haven't seen you in a while. P says this. Only got to catch the recap, but who does DK Metcalf think he is going out and going to juke out? Or who does he think he is going to juke out? I actually saw him run back into a tackle from the Miami player that was still on the ground. Tyrone says that bad somber, also blood boiling somber. Jamal, laugh my ass off at Cody. I was trying to get on, but my wife be on my ass. I miss you all too, man. Somber, I can't stand idiots, bro. Armax says, what are they saying, Somber? Cody says, why the F whenever we have a home game, the announcers and broadcasters talk about the away team? Ryan Clark was on 8chan. Apparently, I have to get that 8chan. I was mispronouncing that all week, Finch.
Sounds like a bad website.
It does. Oh man, you got the 8chan. You gotta, pull out your RAM and all this shit. Last night, Trader bitch, flap your dolphin. Somber says Roman and KJ bust. It's not coaching. It's just dumb. You know what Coach said after the game about about Roman Wilson? This is what he said, Finch. He said the reason Scotty is getting the nod over Roman Wilson is because Scotty can return punts. Scotty didn't. When the hell was the last time you see Scotty Miller return a punt?
He returns punts. What?
Right.
Maybe preseason. I remember.
This was the explanation after the game. He says the reason we keep we're taking Scotty over Roman and he's getting the helmet for the week is because he has the capability of returning punts. So there you go, guys. That was the explanation
like
from the horse's mouth.
Punt returner, is that what it is?
It's bizarre, especially when Scotty Miller was out with that broken finger for weeks. I mean, that's when we did see Roman getting a little playing time. But come on,
and
I don't know.
Remember Roman making a couple big catches.
Absolutely. Tortilla says we just told Juan Valdez if he didn't catch a touchdown, he was gay, so he had to perform. Tyrone says, how the fuck KJ a bust? They don't play him. Miss Pittsburgh says, yes, sir. Here we go. That's right. Here we go. Here we go. Somber. I can't fucking wait until Roman goes to a team that actually correctly uses him correctly and balls out. Tortilla says he'll ball out for us next year, draft an outside wide receiver and put Roman in the slot. Tyrone, A-Rod cooked. I told you Ryan had a good feeling. He had a great game, and he's a weird dude. No two ways about it, but he had a great game. Cody says Scotty Miller ass. He sure is. Not a good enough explanation. I would agree. I think that it's a dumb explanation. Again, especially if Scotty Miller's returned to punt anytime in the last 6 weeks, I would deem that acceptable. It's just not. It's just not.
It makes you wonder if Roman Wilson has some sort of off-field issue. Maybe he's not trying hard enough. Sometimes coaches like to send a message. I wonder if there's something going on that we're not.
What's his deal?
I don't know. I'd like to know. It'd be nice if they'd be upfront with us.
Yeah.
People want to see Roman play, especially after not being able to see him last year. They want to see him.
Absolutely.
And in the short bits we have, he's been good. Good enough to want to see more.
Mark Malone says Scotty is also a threat out trips with Thielen and Sco. Tyrone, that's right. Aaron Rodgers, 23 of 27 for 224 yards on the night. Tomlin is just being optimistic. Tortilla says this. Armax says Roman doesn't seem to be a good fit. I don't know why. Last season was dumb. They never used him. And he had that weird phantom injury that had him out all year last year. So who knows what they're doing with him. Let's see. Armax says this. Y'all are making fun of CA3's. Well, Calvin Austin, I mean, come on. Sorry. Cody says I kind of hate Calvin Austin a little bit. I don't know why. Cody says Calvin Austin sucks. And Tyrone says, what? Don't hate on Calvin Austin the third. Yeah, he certainly dropped down a little bit again. He was supposed to be such a big weapon as well, but that certainly hasn't played out. Tortilla says Cody doesn't like anyone who's taller than him.
Is that everyone?
Well, I gotta be honest. I went through the Houston airport at one time, and I just gotta say that everybody there was very short. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave it right there.
I have also been to Houston, and you're not wrong.
We'll leave it right there. You do whatever you want with that. Tortilla says Cody. Okay, we got that. Summer, how many targets does Miller have? Exactly. Cody says Benny Sko stopped the ball on the 2-yard line. Yeah, on the punt coverage, absolutely, man, looking good.
Smart. That was a heads up play.
Mark Malone says Roman keeps sending dick pics to Tomlin's wife. Cody is at Goofy Helmet. Tyrone's watched the press conference. Also, Tyrone says, I hope Watt and Harmon come back. And that's the thing, it's rounding into that time. These guys are going to start getting healthy, and they are going to be back into this really important stretch of the season, guys. I mean, come on. Detroit, Cleveland, Baltimore in a home playoff game, or possibly your next 4 games. So let's keep it up. And again, as I said, Watt, he'll get healthy, come back. Harmon eventually will come back. Those are going to be people we need on this defense, guys. Or do we? We were 1-11 without Watt. Now we're 2-11. Let's see.
For the sake of depth, you still want those.
The sake of depth.
Yes.
Jen says this wide receiver plays at all. Rodgers, Tomlin giving him what he wants. Not me. He says I'm a 6'3" Texan. Phil the Steel says that, and you think we will resign Gainwell? I don't think there's any reason why we should. We shouldn't. I'm sorry, resign Gainwell moving forward, guys. I think that it's probably going to work out that way. And again, Jalen Warren, guys, he was sick. He said that was as sick as he's ever been. He before the game was not going to play, Jalen Warren, but they decided to let him play at the last moment. He said that was the sickest he's ever been while playing. I thought he ran the ball very well. Tyrone, you make a great point. Also, Pierre will be back soon as well, too. So we're getting healthy at the right time. Cody says, Phil the Steel, you and Tats, right? Texas for life, Cody and Phil. Quinkleman, I do want to say, Quinkleman, welcome to the terrible board. He says, is Stefanski tanking on purpose for draft picks, or is he just trying to get fired? Well, I mean, he's in the Browns organization. The question, it's anybody's guess.
Yeah,
it truly is.
Doing it, it's Stefanski taking orders, is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, have you ever seen anybody do better with Cleveland than Stefanski?
They had Mike Holmgren. Remember when he was their GM for all those years, and he was supposed to be the guy?
Yeah.
And it never worked out, and it was the same crap. They would tank, they would get a big guy, and just he would suck, and then that guy would go somewhere else and be okay. It's like a rotating door there. It's a carousel of sadness. Speaking
of, hold on, let me get a couple more of these in real quick. I do have an interesting statistic and number to go along with the. You know what? Let me jump over here in the division. It was interesting that you asked about Cleveland. I do have some interesting numbers here, guys. In the division, we are the only team right now with a winning division record. Finch, we're 5-3 in the division. Baltimore is 3-5. Cincinnati's 2-5, and Cleveland is 2-5 in the division. So we got that going for us. And we also, get this, scored more points than every team in our division. Now, wait, why are you saying that like that, Ryan? Well, because at the beginning of the year, we were the team that didn't have a quarterback. Yep. The other teams in the division had Joe Burrow, MVP Lamar Jackson, the Cleveland defense. The Steelers will be in the bottom. Well, guess what? The Pittsburgh Steelers are atop the division with 3 games left. They scored more points than anybody else in the division. They're at a plus 10, which is good for the Steelers. I mean, all of our games are close. While the Ravens are at a plus 15, this is as far as points, 4 points against. The Bengals, minus 123 on the season. Now, listen to this. They put up a lot of points. If you think about it, they score a lot. How many did they actually give up if they're at a minus 123? Think about it. The games that we lost, they still scored 30, or the game that we won against them, they put up 30 points. So, again, this team, they score a lot of points. How many are they giving up? And finally, Cleveland sitting in their familiar spot in the basement. They are at a minus 106 on the season. So, again, the Steelers were supposed to be this team that was supposed to be lingering in the basement with Joe Burrow and MVP Jackson and everything else. And you see how that plays out. Every time they do this to us, Finch, every time. They don't want to give us the respect, and we have to come in and prove that we are the beast of the AFC North, as always.
We are the Rodney Dangerfield of the AFC.
We get no respect.
We get no respect.
Let's go here. R. Max says, I wish a reporter would ask Tomlin about Howard. But you know what? The thing about Howard, a Howard question right now, Mike Tomlin would give you the worst answer because it has nothing to do with right now. I mean, he would. He would basically give you the most simple answer and say,
Yeah,
"Well,
yeah.
we're not focused on that right now. We're focused
And it
on,
would go viral.
Hey, right. Cody says the N15 somber facts. Ryan Tortilla says I can see them starting Rudolph, but if he sucks, they would say fuck it and throw the kid in. I wouldn't like throwing him into the game against the Ravens his first time though. Just learning. What's up, dude? Always great seeing Just Learning. Just Learning says that we are going on a Super Bowl run. You know what? This is the best start that I've seen in a many year of something being able to start a nice run into the playoffs.
And also, some of the other pieces are starting to click into place around the AFC. And seeing what the Chiefs did yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, the
I mean, the
Steelers in the
Chiefs,
past are known for taking advantage of years when the Patriots, at the top of their dynasty, had years when they were not so well. We took advantage and won rings. So maybe this is the year.
maybe you're right. As weird as that's one thing that always comes back to. It's like, well, more than likely not, because this team is better. We're not playing as good as this team. We can't stop the run. We can't do. But in a year as weird as this, Finch, I would agree with you 100%. I really think that anybody could come out with the Super Bowl this year, the championship that generally isn't getting in there like we are at this time. I think it's that kind of year. So and again, plus all your preseason favorites, Kansas City's down. They're out. Philadelphia, they're not. I mean, they had a nice win over Las Vegas, but who doesn't? But the teams that are generally really good, even Buffalo, albeit they had a nice comeback win against New England over the weekend, those teams that are top tier,
snowstorm.
they're not really they're not vibing like they have in the past.
No, they're not as hard as they were the last couple of years. That's for sure.
They don't seem as,
especially your Detroits, your Buffaloes, your Philadelphias, and your Chiefs by far. Yeah.
But just like the Bills, Finch, I just don't think we match up well with Detroit. What I'm saying is that I think that they're not as good as they have been, like the Bills. I just don't like the matchup. I just think that we don't match up well with them.
The weak spots on our team just happen to be lined up against the best players on their team.
Right.
I think
because they're going to use Gibbs on the ground. They're going to use St. Brown through the air. Got to get the Goff. The defense is tough. All the things that it's going to be a game. It'll be a game. And like I said, if we can stay in it and just get a litmus test, just kind of get a feel of how we are overall against a team like this, I think is going to be something we could take from this at least. Jamal says, my dog, gang, Finch. I'm digging the beanie, man.
A lot of love for the hat today. Thanks, guys. It's cold as hell in this this studio here. It's like 59 degrees in here, so I had to dress a little heavier, put on the beanie. So,
but it was a heat wave last night, Finch. 17 degrees. I was under the impression it was supposed to get around 0, which is what I was anticipating for the Dolphins, but
didn't quite get that down that low. But
17 did the trick.
I had a friend of mine sent me a picture from the game. He went to the game with his family, and he says it's frigid. I said, yeah. And I sent him a picture from the studio of the TV and said, I like my seat a little bit better tonight.
Somber says, if the Ravens are eliminated, I doubt they play starters. Absolutely not. I don't think if majority of it, I mean, come on. They didn't even play their starters in preseason. The starters will not play in an unnecessary game. Excuse me. Cody says this. Jamal hit me up. Haha. I just want to BS for a while. Just Learning says Ravens will play its starters. It's a division game. Tortilla says I know they still would want to come at us though. Mark Malone, I thought we'd be 12, finish 12-5. Looks like 11-6. I mean, it's possible. It's not out of the possibility. Tortilla says I can see them not playing Howard though. I'm just trying to convince myself it can happen. Tyrone says we could beat them. We're gonna have to play a really good game. Do I think we can? I do. But again, just the consistency of what I've seen this year, it's been hard for us to stack wins and to try to get this win and stack this win on the top of 2 wins with everything that they have. It will go against everything that you've seen from this team so far. But that's a good thing. If it would play out that way, that's fantastic. But just by what you've seen would show you that this should be the game that the Steelers stumble. And if they win, super. I will take 3-0 in December. When was the last time? Also, Summer says this. We win 2 and the Ravens lose 2 is the only way we might see Howard. Be a good game. Tyrone, Ortiz says they made sure to play Renegade and we were up 21-3. I noticed that. Did you notice when they came back from the break, he was like, they just played Renegade. Everyone was in a good mood. And finally, Cody says, I bet all the Kings of Mightiness gold that even if we win out, the Ravens lose out, Mason still plays that last game. More than likely, which I think would be stupid because, again, we never got a chance to see rookie Will Howard in the preseason with the injury. He was out with a broken finger. So, again, I'd like to get a look at him at some point. Let's get into it, guys. This is how things went down. The division looks like this coming up. Finch, of course, the Steelers are up top. They have that division one-game lead. Steelers are at Detroit coming up. Baltimore is at New England coming up. Now, New England, again, they're a 10-win team. What are they, 10, 11 wins? They just lost.
Yeah.
They just lost. So losing 2 in a row is kind of unfamiliar territory for them. Maybe New England could win this football game and help us out. Cincinnati, they travel to Miami. In Buffalo, they host Buffalo goes to Cleveland. The Browns host the Buffalo Bills. So again, as I did say, to top the show off, if Baltimore loses to New England and loses to Green Bay, and we beat either Detroit or Kansas City, we're in the playoffs before we play Baltimore. Or if we beat Detroit and Cleveland and they lose to only one of those two teams, Green Bay or New England, then these Steelers will be in the playoffs before the Baltimore Ravens game. I would love that. I would love to have a meaningless game against the Ravens at the end of the year where they have no chance of being able to stop us.
Right.
And
we can just start Will Howard that game and let him
start Will Howard,
get his knocks in and just
right.
Let our good guys relax. And chances are we're not almost certainly not getting a bye, right? I don't think we're capable of getting the bye. So, why not make that week the bye for our starters? So we got to play as hard as we can these next 2 weeks and hope for a little bit of luck on the other end too. It'd be nice to see New England beat the Ravens. But yeah, the Steelers just got to play hard right now, and it'll pay off in dividends versus the Ravens later.
Absolutely. Here's a couple of things, Finch, that I do have. Alan Lazard. Alan Lazard, as of this morning, he just requested to be released by the New York Jets. The Jets, Finch, they're going to be releasing Alan Lazard, so he will be available if Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers would happen to want Alan Lazard. As of this morning, he did request to be released from the New York Jets. So that information is out there. Finch, Ramsey and Jonnu, my thing was this: were they going to have nice revenge games, I guess, if you want to call it? Jonnu hasn't really impressed us too much this year. Ramsey, going back to safety and doing a great job back there. But a lot of people were saying, are they going to show up against their former team and show out? And that was my question. Jonnu, touchdown, a nice healthy run earlier in the game. Jalen Ramsey, a nice sack, mid-game sack, taking down Tua. Do you think that was a nice revenge game for those two particular players?
I mean, I was cheering pretty hard on both of those plays, especially the Jonnu play. He was rumbling, bumbling, and stumbling to get in there, and he made it happen. He looked tough. He had a pretty bad penalty. He took a bad penalty on a long play not too long before that, right? I believe it was I don't think it was the same drive, but he had like a holding penalty, or what was it? Yeah, a bad holding penalty. It was good to see those guys get in the game and do something good. I mean, Ramsey's been having a solid year. You know what I mean, you hear his name every single game. Also, he does hurt us from time to time. He tends to get a PI or a personal foul of some sort just about every single game. Did he get one last night? I don't remember. I know somebody else did for us, so he might have broke the streak, because there was a while there he was getting one like every single game, a 15-yarder. So glad he didn't. But to answer your question, yeah, you gotta love how they played. They came to play, and we won because of them.
Justin, hey, or Just Learning, have a great day, brother. Knock it out. All right, guys. I want to talk about. Yeah, let's do this. Just because we're talking about special plays and special things about the game last night. What about Asante Samuel in his first start, getting the early interception in the game, keeping that first quarter very neutral, and I think that played out really well for us. You kind of had this feeling that the Steelers were flat, as you always do in the first quarter, but then they come out, guys, 4 straight touchdown drives. It hasn't been done since 2017
Like
for the
7 years, right?
Pittsburgh
The 7th
by the
season, they
Pittsburgh
said.
Steelers. So, how big do you think that Asante Samuel interception was early in that game, kind of setting the pace, Finch? Because again, if they would have continued to run, that was their downfall. They stopped running. They stopped running off that edge. They were getting yards at the beginning of the game,
Yeah.
and they went to the pass, which is certainly not their strength this year. And how much do you think that Asante Samuel's played early on in the game? Especially the guy hasn't played football in so long. He's had back spinal infusion. Gets his first start tonight last night in place of James Pierre. Gets a nice interception early. Again, I think that really set the pace for the way the game ended out ultimately being. Samuel's interception, Finch.
First off, to go with what you said about him overcoming that injury and coming back and making a huge splash play, good for him. Good for that guy. He deserves it. He worked hard and he came in and made a early game-changing, game-setting play. I never felt like we were going to lose that game after that play.
Right.
Before that, I thought, oh man, because Miami's been playing solid ball the last couple of weeks. You're thinking, oh, maybe they found something here. It's a cold weather game. Maybe the Steelers, not feeling it. We don't have one of our best defensive players. TJ Watt's not in there. Things are going on. And you're like, geez. And then that play happens. You're like, all right. The defense is looking like we're actually got our heads in the game. And then we just go after that and we start scoring after that. It was pretty mediocre there for a while, but a couple drives later, excuse me, we started making things happen. And then after that, the third quarter, we ran away with it. So it was a great play to have happen early. And that's those when a big defensive play happens early in the game, whether it's like a strip sack or a pick six or just an interception in general, it does set a tone for the rest of the game. It makes offensive players kind of do this, look over their shoulders.
Right.
It makes Tua or the opposing quarterback think, maybe I shouldn't throw that guy's direction for a little while. That guy's hot. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It changes the mental set of the game as well. So
I do want to take a moment to just say welcome to Vegas. Welcome to Richard on the board. We do have the results from the CBS Pick'ems coming up here at halftime. So do hang on, guys. We have a new champion of the week, and we'll be getting to that in just a moment. But let me get through some of these other accomplishments here, guys, because, again, there's a lot of things to talk about. So just bear with me as I kind of break this down. These are some of the things that the Steelers accomplished last night. The Steelers, of course, now have the most wins on Monday Night Football in NFL history. Not just our little 23-game winning streak that goes all the way back to 1991-92. Guys, we now have 55 wins on Monday Night Football, being the most wins by any team in NFL history on Monday night. Also,
America's team.
Yeah, we don't want that shit, right?
That we should be America's team.
Here we go. The Steelers, their 23 home game winning streak, Finch, is all-time best. Number 2, the best winning streak on Monday Night Football at home is the Raiders. They did it 12 times in a row. 12. Here we are, 23. Next on the list, that was in between 1970 and 1985 for the hated Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Eagles did it between 80 and 94, doing it nine straight home wins on Monday Night Football. And then lastly, the Dolphins also did it 9 times between 80 and 86. So the next best team behind our 23 straight is the Raiders with 12, Finch. Almost a whole dozen, almost twice as much as the next team.
It'll be an unbeatable record.
It's going to be a tough one, no two ways about that. And finally, most wins on Monday Night Football per coach. Per coach, Mike Tomlin does move up in that total number. Don Shula, 30 total all-time. Andy Reid, 24. Bill Belichick, 23. Mike Tomlin, 21. And Sean Payton, 20 in a row. So just some new accolades, some new accomplishments this team did accomplish last night by getting the Monday night win at home, which, come on, if you're a gambling man, everything all the way back to 1991, 92 says take that team in the black and gold at home on Monday nights, Finch.
That's it, man. That's what it is. We show up to play, man. The Steelers show up. When it's in Pittsburgh on a frigid, cold night, they always show up to play.
Absolutely, brother. We got numbers to get into today. We have grades to get into today. All kind of things to get into, Finch. So just hang tight. and I'm not going to get into this because this kind of leans into my game ball, but I have a very specific guy that's getting my game ball today. And I think you might be surprised, but I don't think you will be surprised after you think about why. So I'm going to keep him. I'm going to put him in my pocket here for a couple minutes as we do move forward. And I just one more time want to talk about this cast of misfits, Finch. These is what Aaron Rodgers called them. These cast-offs, the Adam Thielens, the Juan Valdez Scantlings, to me personally, it really seemed to me that he just felt more comfortable back there with veterans out running their routes and running patterns, opposed to the guys that are generally are regularly our wide receivers, Finch, the Calvin Austins, the Roman Wilsons, the smaller guys not getting their routes run correctly. Jonnu, for that matter. It just seemed to me that Aaron felt and played more comfortable overall, knowing that he had a couple of veterans out there running routes.
I think that goes true for any job you work on, right? When you get
Right.
somebody in there who knows what they're doing, and you can have comfortable conversation, and you can explain things in a way, in a language. You know how when you're on the job, there's a language you speak with your
Right.
coworkers. Football's like that, and
Absolutely.
not to say that younger guys can't understand what Aaron Rodgers is saying or what he's thinking, but it's obvious that these guys come in here and have like another sense about the game that connects well with Aaron, and last night it showed on the field.
You sure? I 100% agree, and I feel better. You know what? I do. I really feel better moving forward, guys, and especially as I said, let's see how we pull. Let's see how this Detroit game goes. Now, listen, if we go up there and we lose 31 to 6,
Sure, we get
that's going to be, that'll certainly put us in our place. But if we go up there and seem somewhat competitive, stay in the game, don't get totally ran on or passed on or whatever the case may be, don't get dominated. I think that's going to be, there can be a lot of moral victory comes from that, Finch. And again, you got Cleveland after that, Baltimore. So a lot of possible winning football coming up for the Steeler team. And again, if it wasn't this kind of year, I don't know if I would still be if I would be having this kind of conversation. I don't. You know what? They're okay. They could win. They can't stack wins, but you got Kansas City, you got Buffalo, you got these teams that are just always good. You're never going to beat them. But boy, with Kansas City already out of the playoffs, no Joe Burrow, there's no chance of seeing Joe, and the other teams not being quite what they usually are. You got to start feeling. You're starting to feel a little better about this football team, especially after getting these 2 December wins, Finch.
absolutely. It goes back to what we were saying earlier about how it was 20 years ago. It felt the same way,
Right.
and you would see teams like the Steelers, like the Ravens in 2012, sneak in when those other teams were down. And this is one of those years. And that's not to say that those are the only teams that we have to worry about. I mean, Denver has won what, like 11 straight. They're
Yeah, they're
playing
fire,
very,
man.
very good football. Bo knows what's going on up there. So they are also licking their, they're just what's the word? They're
Salivating.
drooling or salivating. They want this bad in Denver, and they've got the team to do it. So that might be our biggest opponent right now. That's a team in the future, 6 games from now,
Right.
in that AFC, late in the AFC playoffs. That's the team we need to worry about. But as of right now, you have to appreciate the fact that these other teams like the Chiefs and that they are down. The Bills aren't what they were, although they're still very good. Josh Allen's at the top of his game. Um,
Yeah, he's
if
always
anybody's going
one.
to sneak in and make a splash and get healthy at the right time and get the right mindset at the right time, it's the Steelers. They have the players to win football games. Can we put it together at the right time?
A couple more things we are going to get back on the board. And again, we do have halftime coming up here. So we're going to be getting into the CBS Pick'em results on that. One more interesting thing that I do want to say, this game is the first NFL game ever. Boy, the Steelers have a lot of these games. Nothing has ever happened until this point. This is the first NFL game ever. The first NFL game ever where 2 tight ends, one from each team, scored running touchdowns.
Wow.
Just an interesting thing that, again, so many things happen to these Pittsburgh Steelers that, especially over time, you're like, wow, the first time, huh? Oh, the first. So, again, there is another one. Dude, let me get into these results, Finch, because it is time. We have to see who the new winner of CBS Pick'ems are. The CBS Pick'ems results are in, guys. This is, what is this? Tuesday. This is Victory Tuesday, and it is time to hey, what's up, Costa Rico? Costa's in the house. this is the results from the pick'ems for the week. Coming in at the tippy top, number 1, a new champion taking the crown this week, Patricia. Patricia, everybody give it up for Patricia on the pick'ems, guys. She ends out getting 12. She got 12 out of 16 games correct this week. Certainly deserving and earning that victory. Patricia, 12 with the win.
Good job. Good job.
2 players tied in second place, Finch and Somber, both having 11 points correct. Great job, gentlemen. Coming in tied 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with about 6 people. RB, Vegas, Corey, Cody, Field of Steel, and Yinzer Joe, all with 10. 9, me, Richard, and Mike and Tyrone. Derpy, 7, and Armac. Armac had 6. So great job, guys. Great job to Patricia. Congratulations, as she does take she takes the crown. She is the queen for the week, if you will. So congratulations, Patricia, guys. Great job. Keep it up, and we'll continue on. 3 weeks left in the regular season, and this is what the overall statistics look like at the moment. RB, no surprise, at the tippy top with 151 in the lead, but Vegas is right behind him. This is going to be a photo finish with Vegas at 150, Corey in third place with 143. I have 142. Finch, you have 141. Derpy, 140.
Whew, tight here for the 2 Dum Yinzers.
Cody, 138. Richard, 138. Mike, 137. Phil, 132. And now this level here, these people aren't getting dominated. These people just joined later. Tyrone takes the lead in that class, 63. Yinzer Joe, 57. Somber, 53. Jamal, 52. Patricia, 30. Armac, 6, guys. Great job. Keep up the great work. Again, a few more weeks, and I can't imagine that this finish between Vegas and RB is not going to be a photo finish until the very end. It's been this way the whole entire season, and I don't expect anything different, guys. They are your Chiefs and your Eagles, usually, if you will. We're all just trying to keep up at this point. But that is the CBS Pick'em results of the week, Finch. Let's get back into some of these comments for right now. I don't want to miss anybody on this Steeler Victory Tuesday, but we do have a lot to get into. We have numbers, we have statistics, we have game balls, we have grades. We got a whole lot going on today, guys, so do stick around as we have a lot. We still have a lot to go. I'm going to go right around here. All right, here we go. Jamal or Cody says Pat Fryermuth much better than George Pickens. And here's something interesting about that, about the George Pickens guys. Dak Prescott, get this, Dak Prescott, the quarterback for George down here, his passer rating has been 37.5 when targeting George Pickens over the last 3 weeks.
Wow, that's wild.
He's just been playing lazy. He's been dropping balls. He's been they're getting a little taste of that Pittsburgh George Pickens that they made fun of us over and over about.
Yeah.
You gave this guy up? Oh my God, you're stupid. You let us have him? 37.5 is Dak Prescott's passer rating while throwing to George Pickens over the last 3 weeks, guys. They are heading in the other direction. Again, not looking that good. Still 6-7-1?
I believe so, yes.
So there you go. Tyrone says, I know 4 straight touchdowns brought Big Ben vibes. Absolutely. That's what happens when you have, you're right. Yes, absolutely.
In front of Big Ben in person, by the way, they were all there. The Ring of Honor thing happened.
It was great to see. Nice to have them all in town.
Funny how they rose up while the old team was in. It's like the spirit, the aura was there.
Well, that's what they did. They did that against the Colts, Finch. Remember the 40-year or the right, Super Bowl 40 anniversary.
Yeah, that's right.
Vegas was good, my man. Tyrone says DK didn't make it wrong. You ain't shitting, man. And then that Minka, he was hurt and he was down forever. So he had a bad return to Pittsburgh. I'm okay with that. He's okay. I'm fine with how things played out.
Play hard.
Ardmax says we need the veteran Steelers at every home game. Damn right we do. Damn right we do. Ricky Diehard Sports fan said the AFC is going to be real interesting and crazy without the Chiefs in the play. That's what I'm saying. And you know what? I don't know. Listen, even though the Denver Broncos are 12-2, I don't feel that this team will dominate its way through the playoffs. Yes, they got a really good defense, but they're still young, and it's really you don't see the teams that's still this early on really making that run. But anything's possible. Again, yes, they are 12-2. Yes, they do have the best record in the NFL, but there's just something about it. They don't feel. I don't have that feeling, Finch. They don't really feel like they are that team right now to me.
Not yet.
All right.
Not yet. They could become that team real fast because they're talented. Like you said, they have a very good smothering defense, really.
Yeah, they do.
They have a kicker who can kick the ball a mile at the mile high, which they always have kickers who can, but I mean, that's something to be accounted for. And of course, Bo Nix, man, he's just a lightning rod. He has some of that Pat Mahomes spirit, whatever it takes to get the ball from here to there, he's going to find a way to do it. And he's fun to watch. He's a great player. He's a hard player to defend against. And he's in a shitty division.
Yeah.
I mean, the Chargers are pretty good, but I mean, he's in a not great division, so he's able to take advantage of that. So that explains their record a lot too. But yeah, you got to like what Denver is doing, and like I said, you can't overlook them, even though they don't feel like that dominant team that we've had in the Chiefs the last few years, and in the Bills, really. They're still really great, and they can become that team very fast.
And one interesting note, they were the number 1 seed the year 20 years ago when the Steelers went to Super Bowl 40 and won.
And who did we beat in the AFC Championship?
Exactly. 34-17. We sure did.
Handily. After one of the most legendary games versus the Colts in Steelers history.
Absolutely.
We took care of business in Denver and took care of business
Cody
in Detroit.
Cody says the Waller touchdown over ASG was hilarious. Now I know what it feels like when Darnell catches the ball. Waller had a tough game. 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Yeah, what do you have? He had both touchdowns in the fourth quarter. So he looked good. The guy's he's a beast. No two ways about that. Tyrone says, I hope Herbig and Isaac's okay. You know what? They will be. Again, Isaac's with the tricep, Herbig with the hammy. I think they'll both be okay. No signs of anything being more serious than that. Tyrone says, got to get healthy this week. Yeah, the healthier we get, the better, especially just the rest of the way out. You don't want to start taking the big injuries now either. You kind of want to start coming together, plays coming together. You're stacking some wins. You're winning football games in December. You start getting healthy. This is all kind of playing together for, maybe getting that win in Pittsburgh in the first week of the playoffs. We will see. Good morning. Good morning to Richard. Always great seeing him on Victory Monday and Victory Tuesday. Great to see you, Richard. Ricky, diehard sports fan, says if the Broncos get the number 1 seed, nobody is going to want to go to Denver and face a dangerous Broncos. And here's the thing. People don't generally like playing there anyway because of that air. So going in there and actually getting a good team, it's going to be like going back in the day whenever they were, a good football team.
Especially at the end of January.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Steeler Freak says this, best game they play. Absolutely, brother. I was waiting for some Steeler Freak. I really was, John. I was waiting for you. I know where you stand with a lot of everything, and you're very calculated in your Steeler fandom. And I was waiting for you. And I thought you might say that this was the most impressive game of the year. Absolutely. Also, he says, if the Steelers beat the Broncos like that, I'll be impressed. Let me ask you this, John. What if they beat Detroit? Are we starting to change our mind? Because you and I collectively have the same opinion. How do you feel if we end up beating Detroit this week? Jason, what's up, brother? Always great seeing Jason Atkins on the board. Jason says, beautiful Victory Tuesday, brother. It is beautiful. Don't you feel good today? Don't you just feel better? The air just smells better. Before it freezes in your nostrils and,
blisters the inside of your face.
Cody says this, the Raiders are badass. Ricky Diehard Sports Fan says Steeler Freaks 1964. I don't think any team are going to beat the Broncos in the playoffs, but anything is possible. You know what? It's going to come down to, I honestly think it's going to come down to Bo Nix just being a little early. Their defense is good. They're going to do what they're supposed to do. I think it's going to come down to just did Ben get there in his second year? He did. Did Ben get it done in his second year? He did. Did he have a really good defense? He did.
Russell Wilson as well.
So again, maybe Denver is legit. I'm not myself putting him in there yet. A lot of things, a lot of football still left to be played. Tyrone says both are DBs, got Hall of Fame dads. Cody says this: the Raiders are so good. Glad we don't play them this year. I feel, you know what, I seen it earlier. I don't know what it is, but I definitely passed a Kenny Pickett comment. I'm expecting it here pretty soon because I'm seeing all this Raiders talk. Tyrone says I agree. Hey, Roy, look, wait, he did though, didn't he? And I think that's what it is. Because having a fourth string left tackle block your backside, something's got to make you feel comfortable. I think it was the veteran receivers. Guys. Let's continue to keep an eye on that as we do go down the stretch. I think that's what it is. Somber says Roman was wide open. Aaron sailed it over his head and admitted it was his own fault. Next game, Roman is out. I'm not buying it. Interesting catch, Somber. Cody says this: Kenny Pickett's having a breakout year. His breakout year was winning the Super Bowl on the bench. That is Kenny Pickett's breakout year. John says there is something about a known quantity. If you haven't noticed, Rodgers is running the offense, not Aaron Smith. Yeah, absolutely. How many times during that game did you see him make the choice to go out and go for it on fourth down? I literally seen Aaron Rodgers tell at least twice. Instead of coming off the field, deciding to turn it around and go back and converting. Guys, I think I'm going to pull up the numbers shortly. I think it was 4 for 4 on the evening as far as fourth down conversions go. And I'm heavily against that much fourth down attempts. I just am. It's usually not high percentage football.
Right.
But I think Aaron seemed to be making a lot of the decisions out there. I liked it. If it was successful, if it was unsuccessful, I would hate him. I would hate the coach. I would hate the play system. I would hate the offensive coordinator. I'd hate everybody. But you know what? It worked, and I loved it. Tyrone says, I agree. Somber Wilson should be at least a depth guy. Come into absolutely like 5 wide receivers sets. Tyrone is saying, the Bambino. Hey, welcome to the terrible board, the Sultan of SWAT. He says, not a believer yet. We'll see how much hell they unleash in Detroit this week. We will see, Bambino.
I tend to agree with you, Bambino.
The baby. Hey.
I'm not a believer yet, but the fire is there.
Let's go Tyrone. Tyrone says DK, Adam T, Calvin Austin III, MVS, and Roman Wilson are the 5. Hey, what's up? There's Costa. There he is. Steeler Nation. What's up, brother? Glad to see you back. He says Cody says Costa Nosta. What's up?
What's up, Costa?
Mark Malone says my confidence was waning there for a minute, but I am remembering my off-season trances now. Right? That's what I'm saying, man. Hang in there, bro, because we're gonna be missing it in March, and in June, and in May. Cody says like and subscribe. We appreciate that, brother. Jamal, hit that like button. We appreciate that, sir. Thank you, guys. Costa says had to come back as an embarrassment. You know what, bro? Yeah. You were straightforward, man, and you've been cool. I have no problem. Costa, stick around.
You're a real one.
Yeah, man. Steeler Freak said the Steelers moved up to a 2% chance to win the Super Bowl. Sorry, I disagree. The Steelers don't have the coaching to win a Super Bowl. Also, Tortilla says
This head coach won a Super Bowl already. Just saying.
Well, I mean, if you want to lay the whole argument out and put it in context.
I know. I just had to.
Let's see. Tortilla says Arthur Smith. Stat. Cody says it's all good, brother. Come in every day. Talk some shit. Absolutely, bro. Absolutely, man. Come by,
Cody. Day right there, Cody.
Yeah, that's earning the 8. That's earning the game ball or the 8 ball, whatever way you want to celebrate, right? Tyrone, I got cooked. Armac, last place.
Talking about picks right there.
Oh, and the picks right there. Gang. Patricia, yeah, dude. Congratulations to Patricia. Killed it this week, Cody. Tua's an awful quarterback. Man, is anybody else as unimpressed with Tua as I am?
What's funny is he'll make about 2 or 3 passes in a row where you're like, that's the thing everybody likes. That's it. Because he has an arm.
Yeah.
And then he goes and throws a bad pick, or he takes a bad sack, or he just runs in reverse. It's like you'll take 6 yards backwards and then throw the ball away. And it's like, what are you doing, bro?
Just not impressed with that guy. I never have been. And again, when he had the weapons and when Hill was healthy and Waddle, and it's like, okay, well, he's doing something, but come on. I don't see nothing amazing about him. Again, a lot of quarterbacks that come out of Alabama.
He was a flash in the pan kind of guy.
Yeah, you could say that about a lot of these guys.
Had a little bit of that like Cam Newton, you know what I mean? Had a couple good years. Cam did a lot better, but still, I mean, like never really had staying power. You know, he kind of
Right.
showed off his brilliance, got the team doing pretty well for a short time, and then it's just flat. And of course, his concussion issues have a lot to do with it as well. I feel bad for him on that.
Him and Mac Jones, and any of these guys that come out of Alabama, they're just
Yeah, it
not,
was another guy.
you know,
He had
these guys end
potential.
up being system quarterbacks, and then when they go on to the NFL, they can't continue their career. They
Right.
were successful in your system, but unless that NFL team implements the same exact system, it's a crapshoot. So I think that's what's going on there. Armax says he joined too late. Cody says, Jamal, just put your picks in today. He says, just go ahead and put them in now. The picks from that you missed from yesterday, just put them in. Tank for tuna went to shit can. Tank for tuna went to shit can for tuna, or tuna fish. Cody says Tua
That's a
closed
tongue
his
twister.
eyes before his throws. DK greater than GP over. That's what Armac is saying. Cody says Pat Fryermuth way better than George Pickens. Vegas says I wonder if anyone had a parlay with Smith and Hayward scoring a touchdown and MVS. You had Juan Valdez Scantling.
Oh my God, somebody made serious cash if they had that one.
Yeah. End of days. What's up, dude? Always great seeing end of days on the board. He says Steelers only need to win 2 more games, and we got the Ravens this year. That's right, man. We could if we beat Detroit, we might not even have to worry about the Ravens. Considering we could follow that up with a win in Cleveland the following week, but still so much to go, guys. We're still getting to Detroit. Let's get there first, right? Costa says this Tua is a broken man. Injury severely deteriorated his skills. To be fair, Tua had potential, but my Dolphins never built a competent offensive line. Cody says, what up, Vegas? Where you be? Vegas says, if the Steelers beat the Lions and the Ravens lose, this is how it breaks down, Vegas. We have to win. If we win one of the next 2 and the Ravens lose to the Patriots and the Packers, then we clinch. Or if we win the next 2 and the Ravens lose just one of those 2 games, then we clinch. Other than that, we'll be facing them in week 18 for the spot on the line, as we do currently have the head-to-head, which, again, if they beat us, that evens that out. But then division wins comes next. And as I mentioned earlier, we're real nice in the division, actually, compared to what that. You know what? I think we have 1 loss. They have 2 losses. Oh, you know what? I don't know how that's going to play out. So, again, we'll worry about that when it gets here. I haven't had a chance to look at it in that manner. But again, we can clinch before week 18. Either win both of these and Baltimore loses 1, or they lose both and we win 1. That's the 2 ways we could get the division before we play Baltimore. Cody says Tua is awful. We had Kenny Pickett. We get it. Vegas says in busy schedule and moving, got my sleep schedule all fucked. Tortilla 2-11 without TJ is what Tortilla is saying. 2-11.
You mean 1-0 without TJ?
Vegas says this week's picks are up for the contest. Costa says this: Miami knew Tua had injuries prior to drafting him and ignored the O-line. Instead, chose to go for wide receivers and suspect defensive ends. That's the way teams that usually aren't consistently good draft. You know, you got to start in the middle, Finch. You have to have linemen. You're just
You have
not
to dominate the trenches to win football. It's only been 100 years of football. We've been figuring this out, and these GMs they get enamored by numbers,
Yes.
statistics. They see, oh, this guy's capable of 100 yards a game, and this guy's
Oh, we could
of
be
this.
the next big thing, and we could
if we just throw all of these amazing players on one side of the ball and pay them all the money, how can we lose? And it's like, well, that's not how football works. This isn't, that might work. It works in a pitching rotation for baseball.
right.
It works with your 5 starters on a basketball team. It doesn't work in football. Too many specialists, and you have to focus on the entire team to make it work.
Cody says he's just tiny. Last night, Tortilla said Tua gives him Russell Wilson vibes. Vegas says 62 and sunny in Vegas right now. It's still very cold here.
Guess what?
What?
I'm coming to Las Vegas this April. I'm going
back to Vegas.
Vegas, baby. I'm going back. My band Fish is playing at the Sphere, and we got the tickets, so we are heading out there. So, Mr. Vegas, if you're around, dude, let's get together.
Vegas is probably going to be here for the draft.
Oh yeah,
You're
April
you're in the
17th
wrong
is when I'm gonna be
direction.
there. Yeah. Well, the draft is
Uh,
the following week, right?
I don't know.
I think it's like April 26th or something like that. That weekend.
I'm not sure.
I don't care. I got tickets for Fish, baby.
Brian says Steelers' best game in years and without the $41 million man. So imagine that. The Steelers playing the best game they have defensively in a while without the Watt man. It's true. Let's see.
Next
Kosa
man up.
says,
That's what Mike
shout
Tomlin
out to
always says.
Pittsburgh.
Next
They
man up.
played well. Cody says, thanks, tune in every day. Kosa talks some shit with us. Absolutely. Vegas says 25 starts, 12 touchdown passes. Kenny Pickett. Tyrone, I thought D-line played well. I did too. All things considered, I thought they played well. Tortilla, and then I saw Herbig. Now I'm a believer. You know what? He had a nice tackle early that saved a big play from happening. He kind of tripped. I forget who it was and what happened, but I think Herbig was kind of on the ground and he snatched dude's leg up. I think it was
Yeah, they highlighted it on the replay. It was a good play.
H-Chans. Yeah, so that was a nice play. Vegas. Aaron 2594227 and hasn't thrown a pick since 2000 or since November 9. Okay, gotcha. 22 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 2,594 yards. Hasn't thrown an interception since November 9. Gotcha. All right,
Impressive.
we'll take it, man. Certainly a little bit better than what Kenny was doing, right? Tyrone says, hope he's good. He got hurt. Jen, where's Tater? Did someone fly? You know what? I didn't expect Tater to be back today. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm just going to be honest. I didn't expect Tater to be here. He was kind of a dummy. Well, he was the Browns fan, right? Let's see what else we got going on, guys. Let's get into some numbers again today. Finch. I gotta correct my tongue. Let's get into some numbers. This is how it played out over the duration of the game last night. A couple of things in here kind of caught my attention pretty early, Finch. So do hang loose for just a minute. Let me get into where I need to get. Grab a couple messages while you can, if you will.
Yeah, let me see here.
Go with Jen. Where's the Tater? Where's Tater was the last one.
Yeah, I saw it on there, and then it scrolled. You know how it does that thing? Oh,
I hate that. Kenneth is next.
Kenneth, yeah. Vet receivers are not necessarily better than the other receivers, but they have shifted something with the offense as far as making defenses respect them more. End of Dave says Steelers can win it all if is the best team they've had in years. That's a bold claim. I mean, we talked earlier about this is kind of a crazy year in the NFL, in the AFC specifically. But the Steelers do have chinks in the armor, man. I'm not quite anointing us as the best team.
Is it chinks or is it kinks?
I think it's chinks in the armor.
Okay.
But kinks would be like in a wire or in a.
Just chinks sounds awfully racy, doesn't it?
That is one of those words. Yes. Maybe we should take it out of the lexicon. But,
it just caught my attention when you said it.
But you're right. That is, I never thought of that. Chinks in the armor is just something. I play like role playing video games set in medieval.
Like when you're trying to get you're fixing a steak and you got to get the gook out of there. You're trying to pull the gook out.
Yeah, right? Yeah. You got to watch out for that gook. It spreads everywhere. It gets all over the place, and causes trouble.
Gook is a mess, guys. This is what the game looked like yesterday. Let's start with the team stats. The Pittsburgh Steelers led this game in total yards. There you go, 336 to 285. Our Steelers did lead the game there. The Dolphins, they did lead in passing, 222 to 201, so a 21-yard edge. As far as running goes, Finch, this was supposed to be the team that was going to dominate us, and this is where I was worried. I thought, okay, well, we're going to have a hard time stopping the run. Let's figure out how to get it done. Finch, 63 yards. 63 yards is what they did on the ground. The Steelers, 135 yards on the ground.
I think it's fair to say our defense was dominant on that part of the ball yesterday.
You're starting to feel a little bit better about this defense week by week. It's just not. I mean, okay, they're not perfect. I admit that. I acknowledge that, but they're certainly playing better than they were early on in the season.
Play devil's advocate right there, Ryan.
Yeah,
we've had this conversation this year a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple of times now where we've thought earlier in the season, we thought, man, boy, the defense put it together this game. Glad to see versus the Colts. Glad to see we put it together. We made the plays where we needed to make it.
Right.
And then the next week, the defense falls apart and gives up 300 yards rushing.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I mean, we are going against very stiff competition this week. It's I'm
Yeah.
not quite ready to say that the defense is fully healed yet, but you got to admit they played great. This is probably the best game they have put together all season.
And also, I mean, you could put a lot into what the Dolphins do, but again, this team was running the wheels off the ball the past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Finished third quarter, total yards. Steelers 163, Dolphins minus 20.
Yeah, that's a great stat, man. We truly came out. I'll tell you what, that's you got to give it up for anytime a team comes out from halftime in the third quarter and one side of the ball just dominates the game like that. You got to give some coaching credit there. Obviously there was
Absolutely.
some sort of defensive tweaks made that we did that just we just took over the game.
Yeah,
We just completely took over the game, and then we just let our veterans on offense kind of coast us in there, make nice plays to get the insurance.
absolutely, man. First downs, the Steelers lead the way 22-16. Third down efficiency, the Steelers 4 for 13. The Dolphins 2 for 8. 25% for Miami. Fourth down conversions, the Steelers 3 for 3, not 4 for 4, 3 for 3. The Steelers total plays 68, Miami 48. That's unfamiliar territory.
Yeah, we're usually on the opposite side of that one.
We sure are.
I mean, it feels like our defense is always out there for 40 minutes a game, and it's nice to see that we're actually taking the advantage, keeping our offense on the field, running the ball, eating clock.
Also, Finch, this yes, Aaron got sacked 3 times, but like I said, he looked comfortable. He did not look. He looked again. I think these veteran receivers are just something up here for the quarterback. One punts, we punted 5 times. They punted 4 penalties. We only got penalized 4 times last night. None of them, if I'm remembering right, were a Joey Porter pass interference.
Yeah,
I don't recall.
Yeah, or a personal foul against DK Metcalf.
And this was 4 penalties for 25 yards. Miami was penalized 6 times for only 31 yards. So not a lot of penalties. But we knew that going in. We talked about the officiating crew coming in. Wasn't a really active crew.
You only want penalties to be called when they're absolutely 100% egregious. And I never felt like a penalty was missed or one that got called was off. There was a couple that were iffy.
What's the deal with this video existence? Or this video assistance?
Yeah, the video assistance thing. I'm kind of curious of that too. Earlier in the season on, I believe, Amazon Prime, whoever their referee guy is on the Prime broadcast, he did an explanation of it. And to be honest with you, I didn't quite understand it. The assistance with now I do, obviously they have the chip in the ball for things like did the ball cross the plane or whatever, which is very easy, cut and dry, and also very welcome. We should have been doing that years ago. As for the assistance when it comes to these penalties and some of these other plays, I'm a little in the dark on it. It's something we need to research and check it out.
Yeah, it just kind of popped up and it was like the play was over, but now they have the assistant, or I thought, what is going on here? We'll look more into that for sure. Also, the time of possession, 33-33. Steelers 33-33-33-33-33, and the Dolphins 26-27.
Might have to play that number tonight.
Red zone visits. Steelers 3 for 3.
Can't ask for better than that.
You can't. I mean, even Miami was 2 for 2. However, they didn't get in until later in the game, of course, on both of the Waller touchdowns were both in the fourth quarter. Again, the Pittsburgh Steelers win 28-15 over the Miami Dolphins, improving to 8-6, keeping that game lead between them and the Baltimore Ravens. Coming up on the last 3 games of the final season. It's very hard to believe that we are here with only 3 games left. We wait all year for the season. Let's get into some individual numbers. Aaron Rodgers, of course, as mentioned on the board earlier, goes 23 for 27 for a total of 224 on the day, 2 touchdowns, 125.9 rating. Leading the way out of the backfield, Kenneth Gainwell on 13 carries has 80 yards, averaging 6.2 yards per carry, and a total of 38 yards, or I'm sorry, a long of 38 yards. Jaylen Warren, 12 carries for 33 yards. Jonnu Smith, 1 carry, 14 yards for that touchdown. Also, Meatwad, little Connor Hayward, getting Yinzer pushed the whole way around the stadium, making his way into the end zone as well. Receiving guys, as far as receptions, Kenneth Gainwell led the way with 7. The next closest one was 3, which would have been DK, Muth, Washington, and Jaylen Warren. Gainwell with 46 total yards on 7 catches. DK Metcalf, 3 catches, 55 yards, 1 touchdown. And, of course, MVS, Juan Valdez-Scantling, 1 catch, 19 yards. And Adam Thielen has that 1 catch early in the game for 7 yards. So, distributing the ball. And again, last week, it was getting the ball to 11. Was it 10 or 11 receivers? Well, Aaron Rodgers added to that record because now you could add MVS.
Let me just add real quick. I'm looking at the stats as you were running down.
Yeah.
I'm so impressed with Kenneth Gainwell this whole season, but last night he really, I feel like that might have been his breakout. He was targeted 7 times and caught the ball 7 times.
Right.
I mean, that's you got to appreciate that, right? Like no drops, everything that came to him, he found a way to catch the ball, and then he was making plays after the catch. And then obviously on the ground, he ran the ball very well. You got to love Kenneth Gainwell. He's turning into a serious weapon.
He's a gamer, man.
He's a gamer, and you got to hand it to Jaylen Warren as well because he made some plays yesterday despite being sick, and you got to appreciate his toughness. Anytime a guy plays through something like that, and plays good enough to complement Gainwell. Gainwell probably doesn't play as well as he does if Warren doesn't come in and make those little plays.
Right.
It's a good 1-2 combination. It might be the best 1-2 combo we've had in a few seasons.
I couldn't agree more. I tend to think this. I don't understand why, wide receiver running backs. Well, he just can't catch the ball. What? He ain't got no fingers? What's his problem? You know what I mean? Who doesn't know how to catch a football?
I mean, other than defensive backs.
Well, you know what I mean?
Defensive backs. But yeah, if you're a guy who's getting paid to hold on to the rock,
you're an NFL professional football player. Exactly. You're not exactly the right guard for one. You do tote the rock. You hold that ball in your hands and make plays. I just don't understand. Well, he can't catch. He's not a good catching running. It comes between your hands. You close them. That's the secret. I promise you. I'm just saying, but I agree with what you're saying. I do agree, yeah. Finch. You make a great point. On the defensive side of things, Queen leads the way with 10 tackles on the day. 9 solo, 1 assisted. As far as sacks goes, Jalen Ramsey gets a sack. Cam Hayward with the TJ Watt celebration sack. Also, Autumn he did get a sack as well. That was and Peyton Wilson. That is our 4. And then we did get the interception by Asante Samuel Jr. He had that pick. Everything else looked good. The return game coverage, everything looked good on special teams for the most part. There was a nice down that Sko got on the 2-yard line late in the game to pin the Dolphins. So not a lot to complain about there either. Let me jump over to the Miami numbers. We'll look at those real quick, Finch. And as I said, we do have still the grades to get in today. So get ready for that coming up. Tua, 22 for 28, 253 yards for the day, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, sacked 4 times.
Actually, a pretty solid game. I mean, it's just solid game by Tua, to be honest with you. He didn't have it when he needed it. That's what sucks.
Achan, 12 carries, 60 yards. This is who we were. This is who we were warned about all week long.
Yeah,
these guys are going to run all over you. You know what I said? You know what they ran over the Saints and the Jets. And then I think John might have said, well, what about us? We're not that great of a defense. Well, you know what? We did better, so we'll take that. Also, the receiving Achan also led the way there, 67 yards on 6 catches. Reception-wise, Waller led the way with 7 catches and 66 yards, 2 touchdowns. And that's about it for notable numbers for Miami, guys. 28-15, Pittsburgh Steelers 8-6, 3 games left at Detroit, at Cleveland, back home against the Baltimore Ravens to wrap it up. How you feeling, Finch? What do you think how this thing's going to play out?
It's hard to say right now, man. I mean, things have just been so crazy, right? It's hard to say.
You're right. You're right.
You never know. We've been inconsistent. The AFC in general has been inconsistent. Outside of Denver, who's been winning a lot. It's just a weird season, man.
It is a weird season, man. Let's try to get caught up on some messages. We got to get into these grades for the day. Also, Finch, I'm going to need your game ball pretty soon. We'll be getting into that here shortly. So let me just try to get somewhere right around the general area. I'm going to go right here. You got the Vegas bet wide receivers. Okay, right here. I'm gonna start right here. Tyrone, we the 4 seed versus the Chargers. That's right. We are the 4 seed right now. If the playoffs started today, we'd be hosting the Chargers 1 week at a time. Tyrone says, end of days. If Rodgers stays healthy, no team could come to Pittsburgh and win. I hope you're right. I hope you're right. Vegas says nobody should be eligible to win a Player of the Year award on a losing team like Miles this year. Very nice, Finch. Very nice, picking up the pace. Vegas says, hell no. I'd never attend a draft unless I had one of those seats with the play. You're right. Control your vessel. Control your vessel. I do want to say welcome to the show. Control says this. Am I the only one that cursed the TV when dumbass Tomlin wasted a first-round pick on Pickett? You know how I knew? Because unlike most of you, I actually watch Pitt games.
Oh,
well, you know
Ryan,
what? Pitt,
what you got to say there, buddy?
Well, I actually do. I have a lot to say. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it, but he was amazing at Pitt. As a matter of fact, he was a Heisman candidate. If you were going off of what he did at Pitt, you would have thought things should have been better. I wouldn't have thought it was a bad pick by going off of what I knew from being a Pitt fan. I think being outside of Pitt would have made you more pessimistic about Kenny Pickett. Jamal says, hell yeah, trade TJ. We don't need him, LOL. Oh, man, you wait till Lindsay. Where is Lindsay at when you need her?
Oh, my God, Ramsey's going to whoop you.
One long what? Tyrone, TJ.
Watt, I get it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I get it.
TJ for life should be back this week. Vegas, what in the armor? Vegas said, you racist fucker. Tyrone says Dolphins had negative 20 yards in the third quarter.
What a great stat.
Tortilla says that's the joke that got Shane Gillis fired from SNL. It's definitely kinks. Okay. Somber says.
You can look it up. It's Jinx, dude. But,
Mark Malone. Mark Malone says little Asians hiding in the armor. Kenneth Jones, my man, he says Finch described our strategy or years building up defense, but not offense. Glad we are learning both lines matter. Absolutely, man. All lines matter. that is the new MO of the show. All lines matter.
Yes, they do.
Vegas says, I hope Aaron comes back next year. Steeler Freak says, I found a midget dwarf Ravens YouTube podcaster. Please tell me more. Please.
Yeah, shoot that link. Put it in the Discord. I want to hear it.
I just love them little guys. Costa says this part of the problem is that the head coach McDandy doesn't stick to the run. That was Costa. I said that right off the cut. I said, you know what? They shouldn't have aborted the run. That's been your strength. What are you doing? They was hitting that outside edge. Early on, they were getting nice chunks. Why he stopped? And you know what was odd? I thought of that. I thought of Costa because they ran they passed so much in the first possession. Do you guys recall? And it was like, wow, what the fuck? These guys aren't even running the ball. They're supposed to be known for, they're running. And then after that, they started running. They did something real early. There was a switch. And then once they switched back to passing, I thought, what are you doing? The running is what's working. And there was a couple of nice plays. They started out with a 20-yard 20-yard play to start the game. So maybe that gave them some confidence. But I think that might have been the strategy. Come out, show pass early, think, okay, well, this team's not going to run.
And they could have felt like they saw something on tape where they could have taken advantage of us in that first drive. You know how you always they put together their first drive on paper of what they're going to run and what they saw on tape. And maybe they thought they saw something, and they did have a nice play. But then switching back to the run, getting back to their MO is what they should have done and stuck to it. And you're absolutely right. It's like, why do you have this amazing running back who's been, having a great last few games? Why not hand the guy the ball? Like, why are you giving it to the guy with all the concussions?
They did 12 times.
Yeah, 12 times.
I don't get it. Kenneth says it's actually kinks. All right. Now we know.
You really got me.
What's that?
You really got me. The Kinks song. Remember that?
Yes, that's clever. John says, Finch, I agree. I will not change my position until I see consistency. That was their best game since before the Ben injury. I agree. That was a nice game. And you're watching it play out in the fourth quarter.
We have flashes of brilliance, and you just think to yourself, man, if we could just do this more often, all the time, if we could just figure it out and do this, instead of 1 out of 4 plays, do this 3 out of 4 plays.
Right.
and it's just they're inconsistent right now. But hey, man, there's enough time left for the season for the Steelers to prove me wrong on that and to just show up, and play ball, man.
Remember that team in 20 years ago? They had to win those last 4 games, and they did.
Took it to the house.
Vegas says it's crazy how the Ravens have an announcer named Jerry Sandusky. Imagine that. Cody, I just won 5G at the casino. That's awesome, dude.
Nice.
Congratulations.
What was you playing? Slots?
Vegas is awesome, Cody. Cody for real Tyrone. Control your vessel. AI Al Slop. Is that what's
AI Slop?
AI Slop. What's that mean?
You've been seeing a lot of the AI images and videos that go around the last few months of, weird things that are like Stephen Hawking, riding a half pipe and shit like that. They refer to that now, that style of art, as AI slop. You're going to hear that a lot.
Isn't that just AI?
A lot of it, yes. In that terms, when you see those kind of like videos, and don't get me wrong, a lot of that shit's entertaining as hell. But they're considering as like it's the new brain rot, and they refer to it as AI slop.
It'll be around long enough to get it in the dictionary. We'll never hear about it again, basically.
I'm pretty sure slop is the word this year that Webster is naming as their like word of the year. Oxford or Webster or whatever does a word of the year.
Slop isn't already a word?
Well, it is, but you know how they always take a word and like Chad. Remember the word Chad became real big 25 years ago after the election, and suddenly everybody was
the hanging Chad.
Yeah. It's like that. It's one of those things. Oxford, look it up. I just read this yesterday. I think it's Oxford made slop the word of the year because of AI slop.
John, this one really. This is what I'm talking about. John says I'm ready to watch all the young, inexperienced quarterbacks melt in the playoffs. The playoffs are different. And these guys haven't been there. They haven't done that. I agree, John. I don't see these teams are too early. They're too early. Cody the fucking goat. That's awesome, dude. Congratulations, man. End of Days said, what do you guys think about the Steelers? I think that it's a good thing. That's what's going on. I'm still having a hard time figuring out what was going on with the initial set of receivers, but I do know that we have ample receivers now. And again, as I said at the top of the show, who would have thought having people that could play the wide receiver position would actually be beneficial for your football team? Maybe next year we could try with no offensive line the way that we did no wide receivers for a couple years. We'll go no offensive line and we'll have like all these wide receivers. We'll see how that plays out.
We'll line up wide receivers at offensive line.
Yeah,
positions.
Right. I hate when we try to overthink. I try to outsmart everybody because it just doesn't. It's hard to do. It's hard to outsmart everybody, and you look stupid a lot of times when you try and it doesn't work. Cody says, "Yeah, I played 1,000 though, so I guess 4K." That's awesome, bro. Glad to hear that, especially at this time of year, man. Hope you have a nice holiday.
I can certainly use an extra 4K right now. I'll tell you that, buddy.
Vegas says, "I like it. We don't have to waste a challenge on an obvious drop pass. Something at yeah." That's so cold, Tyrone. Christophus, what's up, bro? Always great seeing the Christophus, the great Christophus on the terrible board. Christophus says this upcoming game against the Detroit will tell us if we can play at the big boy. You know what? And I threw the Buffalo Bills in that category earlier. We lost 26-7. Let's see how this one goes. Because again, you could always point back to those past couple years. Let's say last year there was the Philly loss, there was the Kansas City loss, and you can look at just how that stretch played out. And right now we're in the stretch. There was the Buffalo loss. We beat Baltimore. We beat Miami. Let's take a look and see how this Detroit game goes. Again, it's a good litmus test, I think. If anything, it could be a good litmus test, and we could learn from this game moving forward. Thank you for the comment, as always, Christopher. Gainwell's so cool. Dude, Gainwell's badass, man. He probably should get my game ball today, but I'm not going to give it to him because, again, I have a guy. I have a guy. It's up here, and it's locked in. I can't change it. Vegas says this. He's earned a new contract. He's a top 3 player on the team this year. I agree. John says the Lions rating 6, not that big. But again, John, wouldn't you agree that the matchups on this team is, this is a team that's better than 8-6, I think. I do think that, again, Goff come out in a tough game last week, a competitive game. He put up 300 yards.
They're also in a pretty tough division.
They're in a very tough division.
The Bears are quite good.
Yeah.
Minnesota is not. They're not what they have been, but they're still a decent team, and they always play divisions well. And the Packers are having another, better than medium season. That's a tougher division than what we're playing in right now.
Absolutely. And again, I think that has a bit to play with it as well, not getting the wins in the division that they need. I don't think For me personally, I just don't know if it has that much of an effect on the kind of game that we would play against Detroit. But again, we'll see. We have a lot to get into this
I'm
week.
just saying, its a record is not determining how good they are, and I believe what you're saying with the matchups will be the true determine. Can we play against a team that actually matches up hard against us?
Right. Exactly.
And we haven't seen too many teams this year that match up this well against us. We just haven't.
Mark Malone, we toss Spencer Anderson a ball or two in January. Maybe, man. See? Phil the Steel says that Tortilla heard your 2-11 without Watt record, and Finch say 1-0 without Watt. Finch, what a dumbass response. Watt is still a Steeler. 97 showed what Watt is to the locker room. Finch?
It's a mentality thing. You don't think about the past. You think about the present. The present
Right.
is we just won last night without Watt. We are 1-0 without him. We're looking forward. I'm not saying Phil. By the way, Phil loves to get on my shit lately, but
Phil gets on everybody.
he's like
I wouldn't take it
response,
personal.
dude. Yeah, obviously you didn't understand what I was saying there. It's a mentality thing.
See, I think it is.
What
I
if
don't
TJ
think
doesn't come back the rest of the season?
I don't
What are
think
you
people
gonna do?
get. I don't think people get Phil because he does that to everybody.
I think the capital letters really go against.
You know what? I think that's what it is because it just seems like it's what it seems like. I just kind of learned to let it roll off me, but everybody else, he kind of gets under their skin. I don't know what it is. Phil, he does that. He gets it. He does it to you. He does it to Mike. But
yeah, you feel. See, you're thinking like I'm thinking like we're better without him. I do not think that at all. I'm just saying you have to look at it as that guy's not here. The next man came up and played well enough to win the game. That's what it is. That's the mentality. We're 1-0 right now without TJ Watt.
Christopher said this. He says MVS and Adam Thielen are the only going to get better. We are a legit threat now. I agree. And not because they're over talented, just because we have actual wide receivers to play the position. That's why we're better. They run better routes.
Yes.
They know what they're doing. You can't have a 5'3" guy and a rookie who hasn't played any. Come on. Come on, guys.
You know how in baseball you get that pitcher who can throw the ball 100 miles an hour but can't hit the strike zone, and then you get that pitcher who can only throw it at 90 but he could put it right where it needs to be. The receivers we have, these experienced guys, that's who they are. They're the ones who they know where they need to step to make the route crisp. They know how to get in the head of the guy, into the head of the guy standing across from them to be able to get that extra
cerebral. Mark Malone
cerebral
just said,
thought and just good connection with the quarterback. And that's what experience is all about. And you want to see that rub off on these younger guys. You will see other guys come in and improve their game just from practicing with guys like a Thielen, however you say it. You know what I mean? That's what we need. And I think last night's a great example of what that is.
Mark Malone, he says, we get the Chargers at home. We win that one and we have a chance. Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. Don't count them out yet. This is not the year. I mean, we've been worse, certainly, over the past 5 years. TJ for life. Tyrone says, he also says it was a good win. Glad TJ's okay and got the rest. Steeler freak. I thought they would have run all over them after the Steelers bipolar D gave up 217 yards. I was wrong. I'm not sure it was because of play calling, the weather, or lack of skill on Miami. TJ Watt is what Tortilla is saying. 2-11 without Watt. Mark Malone says we're probably not going to see the Watt man until the playoffs, if even then. Steeler Freak says if it was right all the time, I would have the biggest pad here in Vegas. If I was right all the time, I would have the biggest pad in Vegas. Christopher says his numbers are inflated because we played that soft cover 3 in the fourth. Yeah, you're right. The fourth quarter.
We give up a few passes in the fourth quarter. That's for sure.
And both of the Waller touchdowns, both fourth quarter scores. So that you got to look at that as well. Right here, Tyrone says, "Feel the steel. We got we good. He back this week, ready to crush off." Tyrone, she's at the doctor's. Feel the steel. At Mark Malone, good to see what Teflon Don does without him, because with Watt, Teflon Don has wins in his coaching career. Vegas says the fake slide bumped him up 3 rounds. Absolutely, the fake slide was ingenious. The Kenny Pickett fake slide in the ACC championship game. Yeah. Absolutely. Somber. Sellers started the season as a Heisman candidate. Not saying much, but Sellers is also sticking around in the. He started out the season. Kenny actually got to go up on the stage, so he made it that much further. And also, Lenore Sellers deciding to stay in college this year, Finch, because again, this is a person of a lot of interest for Steeler fans looking for a quarterback of the future. He was somebody we were interested in. He is going to return to South Carolina.
Good for him.
Vegas says Sellers should go to a better team. His line stinks. Vegas Dolphins took their time in the fourth quarter. What was that?
Yeah, there was you. I think you said it near the top of the show, Ryan, when I was listening in. That Dolphins team, especially in the fourth quarter, just looked like a bunch of guys who were ready to call it quits.
Yeah.
They looked like they were ready. I mean, guys were just kind of moping around.
They looked like the team that they are. I mean,
They
that's
are who we thought they were, man. It looked like guys ready to punch their tickets to Cancun.
Now this is interesting. Control Your Vessels' pick isn't even a top 3 quarterback. Marino 1, Van Pelt 2, Jimmy 3, Palco 4. You know what? I disagree because Kenny broke a lot of Dan Marino's records. And I think that most people would agree that Dan Marino is one of the better quarterbacks of all time. So where Dan Marino was great in Pitt, Kenny Pickett came and broke a lot of them records. So again, I don't know where you're getting that. Alex Van Pelt, I don't know. I agree to disagree. Vegas says this Finch didn't even know he was a racist his whole entire life until today. He's been saying this Chinks thing for years. I just been looking at him with a side eye. Now I just finally decided to say something about it.
Side eye, huh?
The side eye. Somber says this. He says just Googled it. It's both. So there you go. It's both.
Thank you, Somber.
John's saying the Dwarf podcast is called Ravens Today. I'm going to definitely check that out. I need to, pull this up. I need to see this Dwarf. Vegas says, give your mom some money, Cody. Somber says that money is going to beer. That's right. Tyrone says we play at 4:30. Could be a good game. Could be a good game for guys hurt, extra time. You know what? Them 4:30 games, though, man, we just I don't know. That we stumble a lot on the 4:20 games. We just do. Take us all the way back to New England games. For some reason, they always play that 4:20 game against them, 4:25.
TV ratings. Exactly why they were playing those games then.
I like 1 o'clock games. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Finch.
No, I agree with you. For the Steelers' sake, I always feel like 1 o'clock just works. But for me personally, 4:30 is better because I do not work at that time of day on a Sunday, so I'm okay with a 4:30 start.
Steeler Freak said I was looking at you with a slanted eye every time you said about the chinks in the in the armor. Steeler Freak says this, Ryan, you can invite him to the show to migrate subscribers when the Steelers play the Ravens. Tell him he can keep it. He must keep it. He can come, but he must keep it short. I like it, Finch. It's time to get into the grades, everybody. This is how the Steelers graded two Dum Yinzers style today for their game last night against the Dolphins. Finch, I'm going to start with the quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers, we threw the numbers out there just a moment ago. What do you give the play of Aaron Rodgers last night?
Can't give him anything but better or anything worse than an A. I mean, he played a very consistent game. He didn't make mistakes. He took a couple sacks, but that wasn't always his fault. It's not like he was out there running around holding the ball for 30 seconds at a time. Right. He made plays where they needed to be done, and I counted at least 3 times we got a tush push and we got to see that pose of his. That thing that they keep showing and loving. I love it. I mean, I would say I could see how people could argue, hey, shouldn't he be maybe trying to push the crowd too? But you know what? Let the old man.
What is he doing that benefits anything by doing that? If you're a football team, how does that benefit?
He's not benefiting his team at all. It's one of those things that as a
if
fan,
anything, you're pissing the other team off.
Well, maybe that's what it is. It's pissing off the defense.
Yeah.
Gets them on tilt.
All right, so you give the quarterback.
I'm going to give Aaron an A on that game. Yeah, he did
23 of 27. I mean, that's a pretty high percentage there. 224 yards, 2 touchdowns. So you're going A with the quarterback. Let's go to the running backs. Finch, of course, Gainwell, 13 carries, 80 yards. A sick Jalen Warren, 12 carries, 33 yards. And then also out of the backfield, Kenneth Gainwell has 7 catches for 46 yards. Finch, what do you give the running backs for the day?
I'm going to go with about a B+ to an A-. I guess we'll go with B+.
Okay.
Because nobody really made that one giant game-changing play, but they were all very consistent in their play. When we needed to get the ball, when we needed to move the ball and the wide receivers weren't available, it just seemed like Gainwell, Warren, and to a lesser extent, Connor Hayward got a few carries. Jonnu Smith obviously was real big on one play. I'm going to go with a B+ on the running backs. Good squad game. The whole squad really showed up.
All right. I couldn't agree more. Let's talk about the tight end room. The tight ends was Darnell just again. 7 guys couldn't take him down at one point during the game. There was one play where it was literally 7 people dragging along. Pat Fryermuth again coming in later in the game, getting his catches, 3 catches for 45 yards on the day. Meatwad on the Yinzer push. I mean, they kept converting on 4th downs because of it. And then again, Jonnu Smith. As far as receiving, only went 2 for 12, 2 receptions, 12 yards, but Jonnu Smith did score a touchdown on the 1 carry for 14 yards. Finch, the tight end room. What do you give these guys?
I got to give him an A, man. A solid A, not quite a high A, not quite a low A. Everything you said, plus also with John O. Smith, I mean, he didn't do much. He had 2 catches on 2 targets, as well as that nice running play where he kind of knocked the guy out and got in for the end zone. You got to respect that when the man was called, he was there. And that goes for really pretty much everybody on the offense. I mean, really every player when their number was called, they showed up and they made the play. So got to give another A to the tight ends. I like it.
All right, let's look at wide receivers. Finch, I mean, realistically, outside of DK, there was 2 completed passes to wide receivers. One was to MVS, one was to Adam Thielen. 1 catch for 7 yards for Thielen, 1 catch for 19 yards and a touchdown for MVS. And of course, DK Metcalf being the wide receiver of the only wide receiver here, 3 catches, 55 yards, 1 touchdown on 3 targets. Finch, again, how do you grade this wide receiver room? Basically, 5 catches by the wide receivers on the day. Metcalf, 3 of them for 55. MVS, 1 for 19. And Thielen, 1 for 7. Grade that room.
You want to see the wide receivers get more catches. I mean, they are the receivers. However, it's also refreshing when Aaron is spreading the ball out to, I'm counting what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different people. So, if you're going to be spreading the ball out and throwing two tight ends and throwing the ball to your running backs, your receivers aren't going to get as many catches. That's just how it goes, especially when you're way ahead. We don't need to throw the ball down the field every single play when we're up by 2 touchdowns. So that's not the fault of the receivers. Guys got open and they got thrown to when they were. So, I mean, maybe a C plus because there wasn't a big play. They didn't make splash plays, but they were called upon when they needed to be. Give me a C plus for the wide receivers. You want to see them do more, but you can't fault them for what they did.
How about the offensive line? What more can you say? Fatanu and Frazier and Cook and come on, even though with the injuries against Ciamalu, the Steelers were able to still. Let me pull it up here real quick. As far as the run game goes, they did. They led the game with 135 yards to Miami's again 63. Miami was supposed to be this rushing team that was going to run all over us. Finch, the offensive line, yeah, Aaron did get sacked a few times, but what do you give the offensive line?
A very, very solid A minus. They were dominant for the most part. They let a couple guys squeak through here and there, but it seemed like when Aaron didn't get rushed around too much. He stayed comfortable in the pocket most of the day. The pass blocking was pretty darn good. And then you saw our running backs. They managed to squeak through. Holes were made. There was an occasional mistake. I remember one play where I believe it was Darnell Washington was supposed to cut across and make a block, and he kind of ran into Jalen Warren.
Yeah, a little slow in that block.
Yeah, he was a little slow on it. You know what I mean? But you'll have that. That's why it wasn't an A+ day. But you gotta give credit where credit is due. They dominated the trenches, and we won the game because of it.
All right, so let's get to the defensive side of the ball. You talked a little bit about the defensive line earlier. They had to come through. They had to do their job because, again, this team came in with a strong running game. Finch, what do you give this defensive line, Cam Hayward and company?
I mean, next man up, right? Everybody stepped up and did what they had to do when they had to do it. It was nice to see Cam play some football for a change. He's starting to show up here later in the season. We were really hard on him early in the season, but you got to give the defensive line, I would say, a B+. They were pushing guys around and managed to keep the running backs at bay.
All right. We're going to drop back to the linebacking core. We had some sacks from Peyton Wilson. Patrick Queen was laying the lumber.
Yeah.
The backups came in and did their job with, a lot of people ain't exactly impressed with Jack Sawyer. but then also you have to include Alex Highsmith coming up big on a couple plays as well. Finch, what do you give these linebackers?
Got to give them an A. They
All
played
right.
great football. They played hard. They were laying the wood. I love it.
Dropping back to the DBs. Of course, we got to talk about Asante Samuel Jr. His first game started as a Steeler, gets an interception. Jalen Ramsey coming up with a clutch sack at one point during the game. Also, Joey Porter Jr. Not any pass interference penalties. We could look at that as a huge plus. Finch, secondary defensive backs. What do you give these guys?
I'm going to go with a B for them too as well. Asante Samuel's pick was nice. Obviously, you just mentioned the sack that Metcalf had. That was a nice play at the end of the day. Um, you didn't see guys get open a lot, but there was a couple plays where Tua had wide open guys that he just didn't see or he missed. And he thought, "Ooh, if he catches a ball, that might have been a long touchdown." So I can't quite give him an A performance, but they probably were the weakest squad on the defense, but still at a solid B. It was a good game.
Special teams, anything to again? I think that the coverage by Skoranek was nice. I
Yeah,
don't think I can't think of any mistakes. We didn't have to kick any field goals in the game last night, which is
that's a
rare.
nice plus. Yeah, right.
I don't know if
Gives our
that's a
guy a
plus
break.
for the special teams, but it's a plus for the offense at least.
That's what I'm saying. It's a plus for the
Yeah,
team in general that we're scoring 6 and not 3 every time. I mean, you can't complain. Jalen Warren, I think, had like a 30-yard run back, right?
yeah.
Um,
He looks nice. I
yeah,
don't
he had a big one. He had a
I don't
pretty
hate
nice
him
run
back
back
there
on one of
returning the
them.
ball.
Yeah, I don't like him returning the ball, but I think he had a couple returns, and one of them was for like 30. So, for what they did for the short times they were on the field, hey, we hit all of our extra points. That's not a gimme anymore in the NFL. So, can't say anything less than an A.
All right, coaching, Finch, coaching. I think we outcoached Miami. I was
Definitely.
very unimpressed with Coach McDaniel and the Dolphins coaches. What do you? How do you grade our coaches? Our
Got
coaching staff. Talking Austin. I'm talking Smith. I'm talking Coach T. I'm talking Danny Smith. What do you give these coaches for the night?
When you have a game like this where everything is clicking, all parts of the team are playing well. It's you have to give credit where it's due, and teams play well because of coaching a lot of the time. Our guys were in the right place at the right time. Our receivers were running the great routes. Guys were making blocks and making really great plays on the field. And it all comes back to fundamentals, coaching, and having a good game plan. So you got to give the coaches an A for this dominant performance.
And finally, overall, what do you give your Pittsburgh Steelers? Again, I think this was probably the most complete game they've certainly played this year. Some people might point to the Indianapolis game. I find this is a game, and even with a game like New England, where you needed the extra turnovers to get the win. Those were good played games as well. If you don't get those turnovers, you don't win. Finch, overall, what do you give the Steelers for their game last night against the Dolphins?
I'd say this is definitely the most complete game we've had this year. If the team plays this well against the rest of our opponents for the rest of the season, then we have a fighting chance to beat anybody. So in that aspect, I got to say this is about an A- game. We were dominant against obviously a not so great Miami team, right? This isn't Buffalo. This isn't one of those teams. But if we can put it together and we can have a game plan that works as well, if we can our guys play as hard and show some heart and show some guts and grit, we can compete with anybody. This is just an example of that. So this was an A game.
All right, here we go, Finch. Game ball. It's time to give your game ball for the game last night. Who would you give your game ball to if you were giving a game ball?
I really liked Kenneth Gainwell. You mentioned earlier he's a guy that was a high candidate on your list, and that he's my guy too. I mean, he impresses me. He's gotten better every game this season. Every time the ball is in his vicinity, somehow he ends up with it, and he ends up with positive yardage. For a smaller guy who's able to dance around and find the holes, he doesn't spend a lot of time dancing around to find holes. He just hits them. And then
Yeah.
once he threw, he doesn't do that run 10 yards to the left and then find the whole thing most of the time like we've seen from guys in the past. It's nice. It's a breath of fresh air. We have a guy who just sees the path, hits it as fast as he can, and he's small enough, he's slippery enough to make things happen. So he proved it last night. He was wonderful. Every time the ball was near him, he made a play. I'm giving it to Kenneth Gainwell.
All right, my game ball, guys. This is where my game ball is going. I said at the beginning,
No, you've been teasing us all game, buddy. Come on now.
and I don't think anybody deserves the game. And listen, Kenneth Gainwell is a great candidate. Even John Smith, I thought could have been a candidate. Even little Meatwad could have been a candidate. But my even MVS, even, there could Aaron Rodgers. My game ball though goes to the left tackle who has never played in the NFL until last week,
Yes,
and he
there
never
we go.
started until last night. Finch, he gave up 0 pressures on 30 pass snaps. He was blocking Bradley Chubb out on an island, blocking our 42-year-old quarterback's blind side with one game, partial game played, came in as a starter in that cold weather, in that environment, and gave up no pressures on 30 passing snaps. My game ball goes to Dylan Cook for that performance right there on the day. Kenneth Gainwell, Dylan Cook. Guys, throw your game balls up on the board. Let's try to get through some more messages, Finch. And we are going, as we were rounding third, we'll start getting ready to head into the trivia of the day and things like that, guys. But that I don't know. And again, I think that there could have been about a half dozen other guys that truly got the game ball last night. But how can you not give it to that guy with that? Come on, to say that the guy is never played any before and he didn't give up a sack is one thing. He didn't give up a pressure.
I love it.
That's come on, that's game ball worthy, as well as the rest of these gentlemen that we were talking about as well. I don't disagree with any of them. I do know that Tyrone's got some great. He's doing the grades along the way too. I've been keeping an eye on his grades. Let's get caught up on a few of these guys. I don't know how much we're going to get caught into in its entirety, but I'm going to go right here where Vegas says this. He says, I'd watch Tony Hawk and Stephen Hawking ride the half pipe together. There you go,
Dude,
Finch.
check out some of those AI slot videos, man. There's some really funny ones, stuff like that.
Somber. I bet Howard throws to Roman when he's open. I bet you would too. Lions are lacking on D. That's what Steeler Freak says. And you know what? That will play to our advantage. If it does, if they can, and if they are, we will hopefully be able to score some points. And you know what? We'll see. Again, this week's going to be an interesting one. I think we learn a little bit more about this team. Vegas's vanilla is almost at the top of Mount Everest. Phyllis Still says no, Steelers are 2-1 or 2-11 without Watt. Period. Somber says, so what happens when Aaron retires after this season and MVS and Thielen are released? Now that you've shunned your third-round pick, what happens? Do you just replace him? Seems stupid. You know what? It makes you wonder, was he even ever even a serious thought of being the quarterback of the future? Do you feel that? Do you feel that this 6th-round quarterback didn't really get again, they really didn't go out of their way to. Yes, he was injured. Yes, he hurt his hand early. But again, I just don't know if that was the route they were going. I think they took a guy in the 6th round to get a quarterback. And again, we'll see what they do in the draft. They might go after a high quarterback. Very, very possible, guys. So again, Will Howard's future in Pittsburgh, I think, is in question. Mark Malone says we have 3 really wide receivers. I agree. I love these veterans. Are they killing in statistics and numbers? And no, they're not. But you know what? It's obviously making our quarterback feel more comfortable out there. And instead of a guy not adjusting on his route, or Aaron knows that these guys are doing veteran things. So again, I think that goes. It says something, guys. Somber says thinking about the future. Vegas Nick Lelouch, also Tyrone. We appreciate that, sir. Steeler Freak says this: wide receivers and tight end performance is tied to quarterbacks. Rodgers was comfortable against both the Ravens and the Dolphins, and it shows. I agree. DJ Johnson shopping Sherlock. I do want to say welcome to the terrible board. He says, any update on her big hammy? The only the only word that we have is that he has that hammy. And as far as what Coach T said earlier, unless he said anything more that wasn't on the bottom of the screen earlier, I'm not sure. I just know that Siamalu out with his tricep last night, and Herbig went out with his hammy. A bunch of bumps and bruises beyond that. Tyrone says no Burrow, no Mahomes, probably no Lamar, and there's a chance. You know what? That stupid Allen's still in there, though. He's the one. Come on. I don't want to get tripped up by him. Maybe New England could beat them before we'd have to play them, and then we could beat New England. That would work. That'd be nice.
I hope so.
Vegas
But
says
then we have to
TJ.
deal with the Drake.
Yeah, the Drake. I hate the Drake. Hate the Drake. Vegas
Everybody
says TJ.
loves the Drake.
Everyone loves the Drake. I can't stand the Drake.
Can't stand the Drake.
Vegas says TJ Watt is my mom's favorite. TJ. Vegas. A TJ also. Steeler Freak says folks who want to win money usually have an unbiased view. A 2% chance to win a Super Bowl says it all. Chat. I know you're right. Chat's cheap. Money talks. You're right. Always look to see what the gambling numbers are before you make any decisions like that.
That's
I
right.
agree.
Especially
Mark Malone.
Especially in today's landscape, so to speak.
You're right. Mark Malone looking at Finch with a slanted eye. Steeler Freak Ryan was looking at Finch with a slanted eye. Also, Steeler Freak, tell me when you find the dwarf. I hope it isn't my good weed making it up. I hope it isn't either. I got to see this. Tortilla says Calvin Austin is a dwarf. Mark Malone, Thunder, can you turn the Finch audio up just a hair? Finch, you could probably do that on your end just a hair. If you're
I saw that message earlier, and I tightened up a little bit, and I popped up my gain. So hopefully my gain as well.
John says the dwarf has a Mason mustache too. Oh, get out! You know what? I will be checking this dwarf out today. Field still says.
I wrote it down. I gotta check it out.
Hey Ryan, you know the part in Straight Outta Compton where the Blood Menace gets on the bus and teaches the kids on the bus a lesson on acting hard. I would love to see that part, but with Watt. Somber says Cam needs to work on that TJ Selly stretching that ham. Yeah, that's all we need is him getting hurt now, and the most important part of the season because he wants to pay homage to a guy that'll be back next week. Anyway, Control Your Vessel. Control Your Vessel says the only 4 o'clock games I remember fondly was Ben's rookie year. We beat the Patriots and Eagles in back-to-back weeks. We certainly did. They were undefeated, 5-0 and 6-0,
21 and done.
And we beat them guys. And
that was the 21 and done game.
What was it?
The 21 and done game. Remember the Patriots won 21 straight games in a row?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Through the Super Bowl and into like 7 games into the seasons, and then we stopped it. So I always refer to that as the 21 and done game.
John says not missing Broderick Jones says something. Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially when your fourth string tackle comes in and does the job just as well.
Masterful performance.
Phil says haters on the seats and 90 walks in. You think it's easy getting hit by 300-pound monsters for 4 quarters and getting double teamed and get sacks, and you want to try to show off how tough you are. Boom. Corey says, how about Ramsey? Yeah, you know what? This was funny because I caught Aaron Rodgers saying, fuck you. Did anybody catch that?
I did not.
It was when he was on the sideline. John, it was later in the game. He was on Miami sideline, John with the players. And at first it seemed like they was getting into it. Then Aaron turned to the one guy and he goes, fuck you. And then they all started laughing. I don't know if anybody caught that or not.
Oh, I missed it.
Field goal in. Let's see. Tyrone. He shows up this week, I hope. Mark Malone, McCollum, Frazier, McCormick could be crazy. Good. Hey, you might want to throw in Dylan Cook as well. You never know. You never know. It wasn't a bad start. Sommer says McCormick is one pancake away from getting replaced. D-line B. Cook ain't looking bad either. Absolutely not, man. I thought he played a great game. Vegas says this at Corey, but the producer, director dude should have known that it was about to be said and cut to it. Absolutely, because there's a delay anyway. Even with live TV, there's no reason that shouldn't have been caught. So it just makes you wonder. There's definitely a delay. Steeler Freak says having Rodgers a quarterback who wants to get rid of the ball fast, plus being very particular who he throws to, makes wide receiver in Pittsburgh difficult. Finding guys to play for Pittsburgh will continue to be hard to fight. Yeah, that's true. He won't just pass it to Roman Wilson. He won't just pass it to Scotty Miller. You know, he's particular. I think that's it has its pros and cons for sure. Somber hopes he retires. Vegas says Jalen went over the 2.5 sack total on the season. I asked everyone about before the season started. All right, Vegas, I recall. Tyrone says if we go on a run, he's coming back. If not, retire. A-Rod's been cooking. He said it was his last game last year. Armax said I wouldn't mind him coming back. You know what? I wouldn't either, especially if we draft our future franchise quarterback. I would like Aaron Rodgers to come back for a season, kind of teach. And, I mean, you could pick that guy's brain. You could learn a lot of things from Aaron Rodgers. I think we learned that. Tortilla says he'll probably retire and come back like Brady and Rivers did. Somber says 43-year-old quarterback. No, I'm good. Somber also says hope we can win a playoff game so he could retire on good terms. Steeler Freak 2 isn't starting quarterback caliber. The problem is that there aren't 32 starting caliber quarterbacks in the NFL. I agree. I think there's 5.
Yeah. Maybe.
Tyrone says, me either, for real. He's got us scoring touchdowns for once. Vegas says, will Arthur Smith get a head coaching job next year? I don't know how much of this you could.
I kind of hope he does, because that means he won't be here.
I just don't know how much of this, the success that we are having, you could really give to Arthur Smith, because it seems like the things that are happening are things that Aaron are doing in place of the things that Arthur Smith wanted to do.
Exactly.
And they're successful, and his game plan wasn't working. But again, I don't know. We will see. Corey says, I'm going to say it again. I'll have something positive to say about Coach T when we win a playoff game. Right now, he's just doing just enough to keep his job. I will still see. You know what? And that's the thing. Things could look good through the end of the month, and we could show up in January and shit the bed again, and we're back to square one. So, again, you're right. I have to see something a little bit more to be all aboard. Game well cooked, absolutely, my man, all day. Tyrone says, man, he didn't even make 2 mil steal. Vegas says the IT needs to be an honorable mention. I don't even remember his name. Patrick Queen, 14. Steeler Freak says it will take weeks of playing good ball in all 3 phases before I change my point of view. They haven't been a consistent team for over a decade. 1 week won't flip me. You know what? Ultimately, I think that's the smart way to look at it.
Very fair.
I like that he played well. Somber says, Matt, Gainwell ran to the right. Tyrone says this. He earned to start this week. Steeler Freak, my eyes tell me that the Rams are Super Bowl caliber. Absolutely. The Rams are phenomenal right now.
Yeah, playing solid football.
Matt Stafford very well might be the MVP this year. Cook was good in preseason. Mark says, let's definitely not give Robustrous a 5th-year option. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what goes on with him moving forward. Phil says, you know what? Yeah, give it to the big O lineman. Yeah, Cook cooked all right. I agree. Yinzer Nation, but what does Vegas say about the Rams? Isn't that the most important factor? I don't know. What did they say about the Rams?
I don't know. I have to look it up.
Not sure. Kind of fill us in on that comment, Yinzer. Howard, not a 6th-round QB, though. Somber, that message wasn't about Howard. It was about Roman. I draft 2 quarterbacks next year. Mark Malone says not high. Armax says the intangibles. I think we're talking about Aaron there. If I could draft 12 quarterbacks is what Tortilla's saying. Bingo. If they don't give Will Howard a shot, they are hopelessly mentally deficient. Steeler Freak said the Rams have had a 24% chance to win the Super Bowl and are the current betting favorites. My eyes tell. Absolutely. I think that they're probably the best team in the NFL at this time. Mark Malone says, need to draft 2 wide receivers high. Yinzer Nation, put your money on them now. Money walks. Tortilla says, we'll draft 2 of everything. Sign 2 head coaches and play with 2 footballs. But no wide receivers, though, as long as Bingo, how about we beat somebody because we're better and not because of who they don't have playing? Just need 1 quarterback. Definitely need receiver. Somber asked today by reporters if he is considering replacing quarterback Tua. Mike McDaniel replied, everything is on the table. Miami might draft a quarterback. Vegas draft a bunch of athletes that can play wide receiver, running back, and quarterback. Effort. Guys that can make plays. Who doesn't want playmakers? Who doesn't need playmakers, right? Mark Malone says this, with all the chinks in our armor and the slanted eyes, we should probably have that I Think I'm Turning Japanese song playing in the background.
I really think so.
A-Rod, he was talking shit, man. Phil still says in 5 also yells. Yeah, did catch that as well. Corey says, I caught it because he told Rodgers to get his old ass out of it. Yes, it was 28-3. It was that play where Aaron Rodgers rolled to the right and he just kept going. And he gained maybe about 3 yards, ran out of bounds. And then the one guy on the Dolphins, he told him, you hear him say, get your ass out of here. And then Aaron Rodgers turned around, he just looks at him, he goes, fuck you. And then they all started laughing on the bench. And I was cracking up, man. But you specifically seen his lips say that. You know what, Tyrone? As far as Lazard at this point, why not? Why not? As Lazard did request to be
Give him a
released,
workout at least.
to be released by the Jets this morning. So he's out there, guys. If Aaron wants another veteran weapon, another former teammate as well. Also, Isaac questionable this week is what Tyrone is saying. Herbig hamstring is questionable too. Arthur Smith blows is what End of Days is saying. Steeler Freak said the Steelers had the team to accept Ben when he was a rookie. The Steelers don't have that team now. That is absolutely. We had a great team in place, actually, when Ben came around. Tommy Maddox was the weakest link.
Who would have thunk it at the time, huh?
Right. The former XFL MVP, Tommy Maddox. Tortilla says, didn't Ben win? Come in and didn't Big Ben come in? Because, yes, absolutely. It was Baltimore Ravens. We lost that game big. And in that game, Tommy Maddox goes down with an injury. Ben comes in and never looked back. Hope everybody good. Update on Watt. And we're almost up here. Finch up to the top. So we're going to wrap up here after these few more comments, my man.
All right.
John says, I would take Rodgers or another vet to fill in next year while my new offensive coordinator finds his rookie quarterback. Art never calls for advice. John follows it up by saying the Steelers aren't one quarterback away. Time to face facts. There will be no quick fix. Tortilla, we're 2 quarterbacks away. Somber says 1 maybe. And then Corey says if Big Ben would have taken care of his body, he'd be right where Rodgers is now. And you know what? Ben was he was a banger. No 2 ways about it. He wasn't very good comment. I agree.
Yeah.
Let's get ready to get into the trivia of the day. How well do you know your opponent? How well do you know your enemy? Segment of the show, Finch. But first, I do want to say we are live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. every day right here on the tube.
The tube.
All right, guys, put on your thinking caps, Finch. Thinking caps. How well do you know your opponent? How well do you know your enemy? This is a Detroit Lion question for it is Lions week. As of today, week 16 kicks off on Thursday night. Don't forget to get those CBS pick'ems in. Question of the day. Here we go. This is a Detroit Lions question. The question is, what year was the last year the Detroit Lions beat the Pittsburgh Steelers? I'm looking for a calendar year. What was the last year, the last time the Detroit Lions picked the Pittsburgh Steelers or beat the Pittsburgh Steelers? Take a minute to think that over, guys. And if you haven't had a chance, go check out our website as well, www.the2dumyinzers.com. That's www.the2dumyinzers.com. Lots of cool things over there. Mike he does have his dumb thoughts up. Also, the links for every show ever of the 2 Dum Yinzers, links for all of our contact information, all kind of good things. Go check out the website at www.the2dumyinzers.com. Finch, question of the day. Detroit Lions question. What was the last year that the Pittsburgh Steelers lost to the Detroit Lions? 2022 is what Tortilla is saying. Was it the coin flip year is what Vegas is saying? You want to take a stab at it?
So the coin flip game was 1998, and that's the only time we've ever played. That's one of 2 times we've ever played the Lions, and it sticks in my memory. The other time was the final game of the 2005 season. We beat the Lions to make it to the playoffs and to eventually go on to win the Super Bowl. I'm just going to take a stab and say 2021.
2021. Tortilla has 2022. Phil has 1998. Corey says, I'm going to say the 90s, and ties don't count. No, the ties don't count. They did have a tie. The last time they played Detroit did finish in a tie. I just want to throw that out there. Maybe that's what you're thinking.
Yeah,
the last time we played Detroit did finish in a tie. The last time we lost to Detroit, guys. So that's your final answer, Finch? 19
I said 2021, which
or
was
2021.
would
Sorry.
have been the last time we would have played them around that time. So I'm gonna bounce back 4 years. I'm gonna say 2017.
All right, 2017. I got you locked in. Final answer.
Yeah, let's go with 2017.
Here
That
we
might be
go,
cheating, but
guys.
whatever.
Steeler Freak says Bob Marley is the answer. Bob Marley is always the answer. You're right, Steeler Freak. Guys, question of the day 2021, 1987. Steeler Freak Tyrone got up on the board. That 2021 game was a tie. It did finish in a tie. However, the last time the Detroit Lions beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, guys, was 1998 on that coin flip
Oh,
on
wow.
Thanksgiving. That is literally the last time they beat us, and they shouldn't have beat us because
Nope.
we got that coin flip and we should have scored and won. That is literally the last time the Detroit Lions beat your Steelers, everybody.
Who was the quarterback of that
1998,
Lions team?
Thanksgiving. I'd say Scott Mitchell, if I had to guess.
I think it was Charlie Batch.
It might have been Charlie. Look it up real quick.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Let's see. Hot dog into heaven. Welcome to the terrible board. He says they didn't beat a good team last night. Steelers suck. Steele says the bus called tails. Shut up, Izzy. Tortilla said that one's Izzy. And Finch is going to check out on that real quick. I say Scott Mitchell. Could have been Charlie. I'm going to stick with Scott Mitchell.
I'm trying to find it here. That was the 98.
Hot dog is Roman Wilson. Once Finch finds this, we'll be able to wrap up the show. Otherwise,
it was Charlie Batch.
Was it? You want I should look it up? You need me to look it up?
Scott Mitchell played 2 games that season, but he started the season. Batch came in and finished the season, played 12 games.
All right, there you go.
Insane.
That is insane. Everybody, do go check out our social media if you haven't had a chance yet. Swing by over on Facebook, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and even TikTok. Keep up with what the two Dum Yinzers are up to on a day-to-day basis. Just swing by, hit the follow button, and it will remind you every time that we are on or something's posted. Also, if you haven't had a chance yet today, do hit the like button down below. Hit the like, hit the sub, share, and even leave a comment. They all help us out in the algorithm. We appreciate it all. And also, I don't want to forget our friends over at the Duquesne Pilsner, guys. I know that I was enjoying my Duquesne Pilsner for the game last night. Make sure if you're feeling like getting your drink on, stop by, get a case of Duquesne Pilsner. In the meantime, show them some love. These guys always include us in their promotions, and we are greatly appreciative. Do stop by their website or their social media. Hit the follow, hit the like. They'll certainly appreciate it. Again, guys, and for the next Steeler game, be sure to grab yourself some Duquesne Pilsner. Finch, made right here in Pittsburgh, and it says right on the can, grab a Duke. Finch, anything before we start getting ready to wrap things up, dude?
Dude, something funny happened to me the other day. We got a hotel room for the weekend. It was our anniversary, so the wife and I went out. And you ever notice how at hotels their TV, their cable always has like 20 channels, and they're always like the weird channels, you know?
Of course.
We're flipping through on Sunday morning at like 9 in the morning, and ESPN 8, the Ocho, is an actual channel now. So they were showing corgi races. You know, corgis like the little dogs. And let me tell you what, I was enthralled. It was absolutely awesome.
Really?
They would line up 8 of these little dogs on a little line, look like, little, like 30 yards or something like that is the track. And they would all be standing there holding them. They would hit a button, the sow would go, and they'd all let go. And these corgis would just run their little asses off to the other end. It was absolutely fantastic. My wife and I were glued to the television for an hour watching this thing. So
because they got them little legs like you do. Once them little legs start moving real fast.
And it's funny because they had like super slow-mo cameras. So they're showing like the replays, and you could see the moment when all 4 legs are literally this far off the dirt.
Right.
And they're just hauling asses. It was great. And they also had really great names. You know, corgis named like Banana and shit like that. It was hilarious. It was cute. We loved it. It was something to watch. So, just sometimes whenever you're just bored, it's fun to just find a weird sport or a weird activity like that on TV to watch and to follow on. So,
yeah, no, I do. I like a lot of weird things. You know what I like? I like watching competitive wiffle ball.
Oh, dude, that stuff is great.
Dude, I love stuff like that. And
those pitchers are amazing.
Yeah.
The way they can bend the ball like that. I'm a fan of
that. And kickball too is fun.
Kickball is fun, and I like, dude, curling. Winter Olympics, curling. Yeah. I get into it, man. Those people, they know what they're doing. It's really crazy. But yeah, it's cool. I like watching oddball, weird sports like that, and it's a nice little change of pace to the super high dollar, super high media sports that we're so used to, putting all of our time into,
Right.
like football and baseball and hockey and such. So it was cool and just something I thought it'd be fun to mention here. So thanks for having me on the show, guys, and good to see everybody. Thanks for all the love on the hat. Appreciate that, everybody. Gang, gang.
Let me grab a couple of these messages real quick before we roll. Steeler Freak says, Finch, look up the dwarf before stopping the podcast. I need to know if I'm dreaming. Phil
I
still
wrote it down.
says,
I'll be looking it up. I'll check it out.
cheers, Watt fans. Teflon Don sucks, and you Watt haters would shit your pants if you were in that type of scene from Straight Outta Compton. Boom. Miss Pittsburgh, great. Oh, we appreciate that, Miss Pittsburgh. She said, great show as always. Tortilla says, Teflon Watt. My man Jamal says, gang, gang. Thank you, sir. Always great for seeing you stop by, man. Tortilla says, you can probably bet on that shit, Finch.
Oh, yeah. We talked about betting on the corgis. That was something that we were discussing while watching.
Steeler Freak says, corgi butts in action are the best. There you go. I guess got a following, Finch. The new spinoff of the show will be something with corgis. Phil the Steel says, I don't know, but when I take my steel lady to the hotel, we're not watching TV. I'm making her feel the steel. Boom. Vegas says there's going to be another Little Finch in 9 months. Little Steeler Freak says I like naked candle pin female bowling. Corey, I know that's how I found porn. I was like, whoa, you could put your weed in there. Planetary level of glazed. LOL. Jesus. Guys, thank you so much. I want to say thank you for coming and hanging out and checking us out today. We truly appreciate each and every one of you. We truly, honestly do. We wouldn't do it without you guys. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you to everybody on the board for keeping things interesting as you always do. You are the lifeline, the lifeblood of this show, guys. Thank you as well. And everybody that's at home, maybe at the gym or even at work, listening with your buds, your pods, whatever the case may be. We thank you as well, guys. Thank you so much. Again, congratulations to Patricia with the big the CBS Pick'em Championship of the Week. She is the queen of the week, guys. And then be sure to get those next week's picks in as Week 16 kicks off on Thursday night. But we'll be back tomorrow to get ready for Detroit. Could start trying to figure out what it is the Steelers got to do to stay in the game, maybe even win this game against Detroit, and maybe wrap up that playoff position a little bit earlier than a lot of the league is anticipating, and certainly the media. And so tomorrow we will be back to get into all that and so much more for Hump Day. Finch, anything else before we roll?
Stay classy.
Stay classy. Happy holidays, Christmas, to you as well. Thank you, Tyrone. Everybody, guys, again, Somber, Vegas, Tyrone, everybody, guys, Tortilla, thank you so much. You guys are awesome as always. I hope everybody has a safe Tuesday, a safe Victory Tuesday. Enjoy the Steeler game a little bit. Wave that towel a little bit harder. Wear that jersey a little bit more proud, guys. And we'll be back tomorrow at our regular time to do it all over again. I can't wait. So we will see you guys back tomorrow at our regular time. For Finch, for Mike, for myself, the two Dum Yinzers, everybody, have a great Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.